All right, hey there, guys. It's Metro, and we are back. And this is something a little different than what we normally do. But I have to do this anyway, as the raid leader of a guild for a long time that is heavily recruiting DPS right now. I'm also a healer too. If anybody out there is looking for a guild, Tuesday, Wednesday, 7 to 11 Eastern, Firetree Horde US. If anyone out there is looking for a guild, let me know. We've been raiding together since mid Wrath of the Lich King, so always looking for more players who are looking for a long-term home, a group that's been together for a long time. But anyway, as the raid leader for this guild, we have to obviously familiarize ourselves with the fights, because I need to be able to explain them. So I usually spend a good 4 or 5 hours looking at the entire raid kind of the week before it comes out. Did definitely feel like I could have done more this time, but we're going to get to it today. I figure I have to do this anyway, so I might as well do it. This should significantly help people learn these encounters. I don't know how other people normally do it, but yeah, this would be a good way to learn these encounters if you're coming to them for the first time. So we're going to do it all together, go through the whole process, and hopefully it'll help. The way I usually start is typically there's a lot of good resources on this competitive WoW Reddit. This is a really good place to come and find these types of resources. It seemed like, hey, fast food with somebody. It seemed like a lot of people were just simply addicted to making these TLDR things a while ago, and now I guess there's more, maybe less interest or more like top level interest, but yeah, it's pretty good. So the one that has really come out has been, oh, look at that, has been this Mythic Trap one here. So now that everybody's been doing it, I guess they're trying to coordinate it a little bit. So like every list is here, I guess. It's pretty interesting. So we're going to take a look at all of it. Obviously not going to be watching any videos. The main thing we're looking for is raid leader exchange. Oh, that's interesting. The main thing we're looking for is this. This is the type of thing we're looking for, a cheat sheet. Something that's very quick that I can simply just read off and give a, oh, this is perfect. Okay, great. So anyway, I'm going to post this in the stream. So if anybody's watching this in post, that thread on the Reddit there should still be there, and you can have a look through it. But yeah, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Something that I can literally just kind of read off, and oh, this is perfect. Okay, great. So let's go. We're gonna start with this Mythic Trap one, because this is actually definitely the best resource out of all of them. I haven't looked at some of these. Questionably epic. A lot of these aren't even full. Yeah, what is this? Limit maximum. Oh, he's making videos.
So here's the goal of this.
Okay, good luck with that. Anyway, I definitely think this would be the best place to start. Usually there's a lot more like images, and then there's also that pineapple thing, which we're going to take a look at the end. But hopefully, is that on here? Oh, there it is. Yeah, this is awesome. If you guys haven't seen this, pretty cool. Let me do the Terragu one real quick, because it's quite neat. I think you have to press the F button. Shoot any letter. If they dodge the abilities, if they like get away from each other or something like that. It's pretty cool though. I like that people are doing stuff like this, because if you don't, it's gonna be like, you know, I think people like learn at different paces, right? So being able to actually like almost practice the fight is quite interesting, but we'll do this later on. Okay, so let's take a look at all the fights. First thing is, yeah, the Terragu. We already have that up. Okay, cool. So one thing is, it also has apparently a roll filter. I don't think we have no filter currently, and we don't. I mean, I'm not sure what would be different about these fights at this point, but we don't want that. So okay, so we'll go over it from heroic onward. I might take a look quickly at normal. I think there says something about changes on heroic, right? Yeah, heroic changes. Okay, cool. So let's read everything. Quick strat. So what is that? Exit quick strat. It doesn't seem any quicker. Unsure what that is. I feel like, you know, this website's still a work in progress. Hey, there's a stereo. What's up, buddy? How's it going, buddy? I don't know what that is. But anyway, yeah, the cool thing about this is also got a presentation mode. So check this out. This is really neat. So we create the link, and then we copy this, and watch this. This is really cool. Okay, so let's pretend that I'm a different person. I have it up on this monitor. I have it up over here. Okay, cool. Okay, so this is the person watching, and this is me. So, alright, so I'm explaining the fight, Look at that. Okay, next up is this mechanic here, guys. Check this out. Alright, good, you see it? Okay, next is this mechanic, phase 1. We're going to do all these things. Okay, now we're moving on to this mechanic. Alright, you guys got that one? Alright, here, the next mechanic is this one. Like, it's actually really interesting. I don't know if anybody would ever use that, but it is a cool functionality for sure. Probably a few too many steps, but very cool. Definitely interesting. That website's definitely doing some cool things. Okay, so let's get started. How do we get out of the raid leader thing? Okay. So apparently Echo has collaborated with this. It's good. All right, so Anima power. So this is the first fight in the raid. It's got a lot of gimmicks to it. For this first boss fight, each player chooses 4 Anima powers that drops from trash mobs. You can reset your Anima powers by interacting with a pillar next to the boss room, then revisit the Anima orbs to select new ones. Okay. Interesting. So I guess you have to do it on the trash. You pick on trash. New ability. Throughout the fight, this is the heroic changes. So on heroic, throughout the fight, players must soak small zones that appear randomly in the room. Players who soak will be affected by different debuffs, but this prevents the boss from getting empowered. Make sure not to overstack the debuff and consider soaking the zones with an immunity. Okay. Okay, so anyway, we can get rid of this top bar. Doesn't really change when we move the thing, yeah. How did you prepare for a raid, say, 10 years ago, back when this kind of detailed information wasn't readily available? It was. I mean, it's not like this. Certainly not like this, but yeah. The raids were way easier too. Like, so much fucking easier than they are now. So there was way less to learn. Like, when we were getting ready for Cataclysm raids, it was literally just see what the fight looked like, and you knew everything you needed to do on the fight. But now there's like the amount of visual clarity that needs to be there. Like, you know, looking at this mechanic alone, this target, whatever this is, like this guy's running around and ice blocking. I have no idea what that is. You know, I need to read about it to understand it. But back in Wrath, it would have been like, okay, spread, soak this thing. It's usually not a lot of mechanics. Anyway, you fight with your Anima powers until the boss reaches 10% HP. Phase has frequent intermissions with some required movements. Okay. Everyone, when targeted, use... Okay, so this is the mechanic, right? Chains of Eternity. Applies an 8-second debuff on a player. Upon expiration, stuns the first player in the path of the target, gripping them and inflicting lethal physical damage. Can be immune, bopped, etc. A player with the stun immune anima won't take damage or be immune or be stunned from this ability. Okay, so multiple ways to deal with that mechanic. It's just like a frontal, basically. See, the weird thing is, this video is not good. It's wrong. I mean, it's showing the hunter immune, but then there's a DK in front, it looks like. Showing people immune, but there looks like actually just melee in front. Maybe it won't hit range, or maybe it'll only hit range. So that guy blinks over and then turtles, but there's 3 melee standing right in front of it. And it looks like they soak it. I mean, I don't know, so... Anyway, when targeted, use or call for immunity. Help other players if you can. Don't stand between the boss and the target. Yeah. Okay, so that's going to happen how often? Doesn't say. I mean, probably frequently, I guess. Maybe not that frequently. Yeah, way less mechanics back in the day. Anyway, applies a dispellable fear zone around several players. If another player enters the zone, they will get feared. Okay, so we saw that on the pineapple thing. Let's see it. That's the purple thing right there. Wait, that guy died too. Oh, no, he was the one who had it, I guess. So just need to be spread. Which I'm not really sure how that complicates the fight, honestly. Oh, what the hell is that guy doing? What is that thing? Is that an actual weapon he's using, or is that some kind of paladin spell? What the fuck was that? It's like a giant hammer. Maybe that's what, oh, that's probably what, if you're ret, that's probably what, Seraphim looks like, maybe, huh? Okay, so that's not, too difficult of a mechanic. Spread out. Remnant of Forgotten Torments. This is heroic only. But we'll look at it. Soak the AoE in the ground. Avoid taking too many stacks and rotate players to absorb stacks. So an AoE circle spawns in the middle of the room with 5 charges that must be soaked. Each unsoaked charge buffs the boss, and each soaked charge applies a debuff on the player. Purple pink AoE. Players, what? That's just the colloquialism. Players take 10% magic damage for 1.5 minutes. Unsoaked boss gains stacks of 50% magic damage done. Okay. I see. So you really can't let these... Somebody has to do it. Big weapon levitating AoE. Okay. Players take 10% physical damage. Unsoaked, the boss does more physical damage. And then fireball. Players gain a dot that pulses fire damage every 5 seconds. If unsoaked, pulses raid-wide damage. Soak. Limit your stacks. Okay, so you definitely don't want to have more than one of those, obviously. Okay, so let's see. There's other mechanics, too. This is all phase 1, it looks like. Yes. Overpower. Tank swap mechanism. Cast a heavy physical damage with a 4-second stun and a 20% physical damage increase debuff. Oh, a stun. Okay. Mitigate when boss deals increased damage. 40-second shadow dot on random players. Gets very dangerous if the boss gains enrage or increased magic damage stacks from unsoaked remnants. Well, obviously that's an error, so hopefully that won't happen, but... And this I saw, this Fury of the Ages. The boss gains 5 stacks of enrage, increasing its damage done and haste by 25% per stack. The stacks can be stolen with an Anima or soothed by hunters, druids, and rogues. So that's great. We have a couple of those. That's good. Hopefully that'll be easy. Periodically, intermission starts and you'll have to run to a safe spot to survive. Yeah, this is a very interesting mechanic. Okay. Hungering Mists interface. The boss spawns images of itself that explode after several seconds and deal AoE damage to any player outside a safe spot. Safe spots will randomly appear at 1 of 4 possible spots. If you have the Anima granting a 90% AoE damage reduction, you don't need to dodge. Oh, wow. So can you still fight him? I guess so. Let's see what it looks like. No. Well, yeah, no, it looks like people are still fighting him. Wow, really a small amount of area there, huh? Oh, but it's got like a thing above it, so you know that's definitely where to go. So that's another thing that didn't exist back in the day, is all those visual aids. People made add-ons to create these visual aids, and then Blizzard was just like, okay, let's just let people not have to use add-ons for that. Okay, interesting. That's a tough mechanic if it happens a lot, but maybe it won't. Okay, phase 2. When reaching 10% HP, the boss starts its final Berserk's phase. This is a hard enrage from what I could tell. When the boss reaches 10% HP, everyone loses all their Anima powers, and the boss deals 500% increased damage. It will one-shot its target, so start running for your life, and have tanks bounce the boss between each other or kite. When the boss is in that phase, he stops using the abilities from phase 1. So I don't know if that means we should lust at the end there or what. That's going to be a tough one. Hey, Colin, what's up, buddy? Okay, so let's see. I mean, I think I've got a good visual on what this is going to look like, but no real trick to it probably, unless maybe there's somehow that you could not die to it, but that's a tank who just got one shot, right? Just kite. This is taken from somebody's video, probably. Okay, recap and positioning. So this is the whole fight, I guess. Let's see. Predator's Howl, spread out for that. Soak those things. We need, come on, guys. We need to fucking soak. Holy shit. Chains of Eternity. Okay, block this, Immunity. Good, good, good. Okay, Res Cop. Good. Good work, guys. Spread. Animation ended, guys. We did it. I'm so excited for tomorrow. I'm very excited for the season. I hope that tomorrow won't be a letdown. I hope that it's not going to be down all day. But even on the launcher, it doesn't say it's going to be down all day. So, well, it was here. It said like 3 o'clock or something. Yeah, at 3 p.m. So that's pretty late. Not good. But hopefully it won't be up. Maybe it'll be up way earlier than that. I don't know. The problem is, like, I really need to eat at some point. Anyway, okay, so we've seen the whole fight now. So what's it saying? Predator's Hall. So this is like the kind of the recap. Yeah, this is kind of what the fight looks like. Okay. Roger Brown gave his thoughts on what looks like the best and worst anima for the fight, as well as some slightly harder to rank. Keep in mind this is only informed from PTR testing. I get home from work at 3, so perfect time for me. Sweet. Yeah, that's good. Fortunately, that's like, yeah, not great, because then it means I either have to try to eat super early or eat while we're playing. I don't know. Okay, so these animas are the most powerful, but they will either weaken another player of your raid or be a handicap to the strategy. I recommend picking them wisely and making sure your raid is fine with it. 30% damage, but you knock all nearby players. What the fuck? Automatically knock back all players that come within. Oh no. Holy shit. But people will hate you in the interface when you bump them out of the safe spot. Who cares though? They will be behind on the meters, so they are wrong, obviously. Oh, what the fuck? Azrai, what's up, buddy? How's it going? That's a weird one. 10 of towers. 10% damage done, and you stun your raid and the boss for 10 seconds when you die. Why would you die? A very solid DPS increase. Scales really well with other DPS animas. The issue starts when you die during the miss phase. Stunning all... Why would you die there? Stunning all your raid during this movement heavy phase. Could be interesting for tanks though, since stunning the boss when you die can ensure your co-tank takes it back easily. Yeah, that does seem like a good one for tanks. Okay, DPS animas. There's a lot. I guess we'll read them all though, because this doesn't seem to be just DPS stuff. Through the PTR testing, this is ranking I came up with. It might not be fully accurate, but should give you a good idea. Keep in mind it's ranked here, so the earlier in the list, the stronger I think it is. Okay. Okay, so first one, Twisted Samaflange. 15% damage and healing to 3 nearby allies. A very potent anima for your raid, but no personal DPS gain. It is one of the highest potential gain overall. Ideally for healers or tanks. For you, up to 45 for your raid. Okay, so not a personal increase, but if everybody had that, maybe you don't always, I guess you can't always choose, right? Like you have to make a choice. Okay, Aletheum weights. 30% primary stat. Likely to be the most powerful non-spicy anima. 30% primary stat is a gigantic power boost. Correct. Okay, huddled carvings. 30% damage while close. Gigantic, so what does it do? 30% damage while close to 2 allies. How long does that actually last? It just goes away immediately. Gigantic upgrade for melee with the high uptime. Harder to take full advantage of as a range, but if you manage to have a good uptime, fantastic upgrade. Okay. Tremor Beast Heart. 15% primary stats. Same as Aletheum weights. Primary stats are your biggest damage, so a very powerful anima. Oh, it's just worse than Aletheum weights, so yeah, I guess you're gonna have to get lucky or something. This is gonna change per week, maybe? I don't fully understand what's going on here. Erratic Howler. Frequent direct damage to nearby enemies. Very strong damage from this anima. If you pick it, play in melee range. It just does damage. While in combat, releases an uncontrolled howl. Huh. And interrupts spells? Why would you want that? What the fuck? Anyway, Heart-Seeking Fang. Damage to enemies. Leech 3 health from a random enemy within 15 yards. The damage and healing is double if the target is suffering from a bleed effect. Velocity. Powers are per pull. Oh, wow. What the fuck? That's strange. From the little data we have, this is also a serious DPS gain. Play in melee if you have it. Okay. Potent Acid Gland. Direct damage and DPS increase on the target. Chance to launch a glob of acid. Okay, so it's relatively similar stuff here. These are just numerically different secondary stats. This is like the Oberon armaments. Pulsing Rot Hive. Your attacks have a chance to attach decay fly larva in the target, inflicting 9 nature damage every 1 second. When this effect expires, the larva hatch from within the target to fight for you. Yeah, so most of these are just very basic at this point. Okay. 50% damage taken reflected. Oh my god, probably the most powerful anima for tanks, especially if you have a high uptime on the boss. Really bad for other rolls. That's cool. Damn. That's really good. Hopefully we'll get that. I don't know how it's actually going to work. Okay, those strategic picks will help you kill the boss, making some mechanics easier to play. It's like the European thing, talking about play. Do. It's called do. Making some mechanics easier to do. You don't play a mechanic, you do a mechanic. Anyway, I recommended having one of each of these in your raid on players who are good at playing mechanics. Okay, disembodied mystic hands. Your attacks have a high chance to steal a beneficial magic or enrage effect from your target, applying it to yourself. Oh, that's quite good. If you don't have a hunter, rogue, or druid in your raid, this will be the only way to remove boss enrage. You should gain a fairly good amount of DPS from stealing these buffs. Yeah, it sounds like you don't even want those classes to do it. That's interesting. Okay, ever-beating heart. You become immune to fear and stun effects. The anima allows the player with it to soak every chains of eternity. Really good if you have it on at least one mindful player to neglect the mechanic. You will have to stand in front of the affected players. It's an anima I'd recommend for most people since it makes the fight much easier mechanically. So probably not a DPS. It's funny. Oddly intangible key. Allows you to stand still in the intermission and continue DPS. Great if you're also struggling with this phase. What is this? Oh yeah, I see. But so they're not always there, I guess, huh? Or is maybe one of these is always somebody has this? I just don't know how you choose. Satchel of the Hunt. Nearby players 30% movement speed. I highly recommend getting it. Beyond that, it loses value. Yeah. 20 yards, pretty good. So probably one melee, one range. And then Soul Word Clasp. Create 25% damage. Healing increases orbs to soak. Oh, increase orb. I see. Your abilities have a chance to proc a zone of soul empowerment. Any player may collect this to gain 25% damage. Wow. It can be good to have your tanks and healers pick this anima if they want to support other players' DPS, since other DPS players might steal, I guess, your own orbs, and you don't want to help them beat you. Don't pick it, obviously. This guy's a clown. Anyway, okay, so that's the whole fight. The orbs, or the anima powers themselves, are going to be hugely important, it seems like. Probably can't kill it without anima powers. And you choose 4. I wonder, I guess there's going to be 3 picks of 4. Maybe there's 4 picks of 4. Okay, so let's quickly see the fight on this sheet now. So this is the TLDR one that we're going to use. I'm actually going to post this in the guild strategy tab before I forget. Because I will forget. Okay, anyway, collect anima powers. One person get immune to stun. Don't take knockback type effects. Yeah, that's definitely not a good idea for the first few nights. Spread AoE circles that fear people. Healers dispel them. Oh, they can be dispelled. Interesting. Stack in the safe spot, away from the darkness. Soak. Tank soaks magic. Raid soaks melee. Oh, what the hell? That did not even get mentioned. Maybe that's on Mythic only or something? Boss Enrage, soothe the boss Enrage, and then Heroic. Soak floor circle that debuffs raid. 5 charges picked up by an individual player. That's strange. That did not even get mentioned. Soaks. Okay, so let's see what tank, if we look at just tanks. Maybe this changes to this on Heroic. Let's see what it says on normal. Nope, doesn't mention it. That's strange. Not even mentioned on this. Why would that be the case? Could be wrong. Could be outdated. One of these things is outdated. Okay, what other options do we have here for this fight? Let's see. Questionably epic. Okay, one of these. These are good, but there's a lot going on here. Okay, so that's definitely a good idea. So the tanks face the boss one way, everybody else is behind the boss. Then you move the chain to one side. And then the torment is the soaking thing. Torments or use immunities to avoid stacking debuff. More players in equals faster soak. Oh, okay. Beware of increased boss damage when torments are out. But they shouldn't happen, right? I don't. You should be able to soak it. Twisted Samophalange reduces nearby ally damage. Oh, does it? What? This is the opposite of what this says. They must have changed. Okay, so this is not good because this is conflicting info. Hi, Lord, what's up? Conflicting info here. This buffs other players, but on this thing it says it reduces other players. What the fuck? Well, I guess we could see the mechanics are in the game right now, right? Provided that it's in the game. I assume it is. Hey Metro, I just played Mythic Plus and I'm between Brewmaster, Blood, or Vengeance. I feel Brew is so squishy, Vengeance so boring, and Blood is cool, but in Necrotic you can't play. What's your thoughts? No, you can definitely. Necrotic's not that big of a deal. It's just a pain in the ass. I play Blood DK. I don't like the other two that you mentioned anyway. I guess there's not going to be a list of all the Anima powers on here, right? That would be a lot to ask. That's unfortunate. Dispel players affected with Predator's Howl, causing an aura of dread to form around the players for 21 seconds. This causes each player to radiate to other players within 5 yards. And that's the fear. So you just have to get out and get it dispelled, basically. What happens if you dispel it when they're not out? Long time no see. Paul, what's up? How you been? Okay, so I guess I understand the fight. I'm a little confused on some things, but seems like the fight's either changed or somebody's confused. Here. Void doesn't impact players until soaked. Soaking results in a 1.5 minute debuff. Oh, okay, so it's not random. It's like one of each, basically. Increases bosses' physical damage dealt. Players who soak take increased physical. I see. That's what they're talking about. So it's not just random. There's going to be a magic one, and that's what they were recommending. Or was it? They're basically tank soaks magic, raid soak melee. Increases bosses' magic damage dealt. I wonder what those look like. Okay, well, I definitely think we've seen the whole fight, so let's go ahead and do the pineapple thing now. Oh, well, any other? These are videos? Yeah, these are videos.
Whoa, we're pulling?
Just the post on this subreddit? What? Oh. Guide with illustration. Let's see that. That's a good one, sounds like. Oh yeah, okay, this is the I've seen a lot of these people's things before. Not quite the illustration I was looking for, though. There was one for Nathria that was actually like an animation that played. DK tips, what? The Terragu. Oh, you'll be able to prevent Predator's Howl debuff and Fear Effect if you AMS before the cast. And if you do get hit, you get Lichborn it. Okay, I'm not going to have that happen, I hope. You prevent Icebound, yep. Grasp of Death is also hard-casted, and AMS will prevent you from getting a 40-second long dot. Albeit its application is random. Grasp of Death. Sun can be immune thanks to IBF, so despite not having an actual full invulnerability, DKs can help other players. Oh, that's cool. I wonder how much damage you get hit by, though. You will not be pulled in by Chains of Eternity if you have Death's Advance active. So, I just don't know if that mechanic's meant to kill you or what. Debuff can be immune with AMS in heroic or lower difficulties. In mythic difficulty, this no longer applies. Huh. It probably just changed. They probably just changed it. Okay, well that's kind of useless. These are all videos too, right? Slideshow. fuck is this? Jesus Christ. Okay, anyway, Tergu? TLDR. Oh, that's good. They're doing this too. This definitely helps. But it's not. Oh, that guy got feared. Fuck. Nooble. Definitely would be better if it was actual players, no problem, but they're just random. Two torments will, or two remnants will spawn. Never have both of these debuffs at the same time. What? I see, they're two separate groups of people. So AMS works on heroic and normal. Oh, here's the pictures of them though. Okay, that's really good. So presumably that's the physical one, that's the magic one, and then that's the fire one. Okay, good. Oh, I see. These are actually referring to the things. I get it. So they said, I see. So this is the physical. It's hard to tell. Yeah, this is the physical one. So just non-tanks. Unstable form. That's the, one of the anima powers. So you either use immunities. Doesn't recommend tanks in this one. So. Okay. This isn't really that TLDR, is it? Will only wipe by not soaking the remnant or chains. No real comp requirement for this. Stun immune anima power, ever beating heart, should be assigned to your best mechanical healer. May be worth giving it to your best mechanical melee as a backup in case healer dies for whatever reason. Can also rotate immunes if when needed. Raid behind boss. Targeted players go left or right. Markers for targets to go and marker for soaker to go. Keep it consistent. Lust on pull. 90% reduction AoE power is pretty good for the intermission for melee specifically. Yeah, because they can keep attacking. Tanks can also solo, dot, remnant, and tank magic damage increase. Purple one, yeah. DPS healers should soak physical damage remnant since tanks are only ones taking physical damage. Yep. Oh, that's interesting. Literally no physical damage on the fight. Okay. Healers need to be tracking Grasp of Death. Similar to Zymox, this big dot on top of other damage will be what kills people. Okay. Okay. X is raid stack. Blue is the soaker. Green is the chains. So that's good. Okay. Okay. So that's a pretty good one. Pretty good resource. All right. Let's see the pineapple thing. Where's that? Affinity. Wow. Pretty good. Pretty good stuff. People take it serious. It's good to see that. Alright, let's play some pineapple. Tergu. I don't even really. I don't think it's up to me to move. I don't know if it's the player's responsibility. I guess it needs to be dispelled, so yeah. Okay, we gotta soak these. You're just standing them, you don't actually. Oh no, you do. You run over them. That's interesting. Not what I expected. That's gonna be a tough mechanic for some people. Alright, let's see you walking in. This seems like a very easy fight though. I mean, I guess it's the first fight, so it's not surprising. I guess the anima powers. I guess it's gonna be about tuning more than anything. Like if we take really fucking long to kill him, maybe it gets tough. So that's the whole fight. Does he just do this randomly? Or, yeah, it looks like when his energy bar fills up. Is that how it's meant to work? Alright, sorry, buddy. You're getting feared. It's not going to stop us from killing the fight, so don't worry about it. Oh, shit. Kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him. Nope, we're dead. Okay, we did it, I think. I don't know how he didn't kill us there. Not good. That was almost a wipe right there. Alright. Okay, so that's the first boss. That was 35 minutes. It's gonna be a long one. Alright, so next fight. Let's take a look. Raid. Eye of the Jailer. It's a linear dungeon, or linear raid, right? There's no way to skip it. Alright, fight overview. In phase 1 and 3, you fight the boss and deal with occasional adds, but that's on heroic only. In phase 2, starts at 75%, 50, and 25. The boss retreats and summons 2 mini-bosses instead. Kill them at the same time to get back to phase 1 or 3. Phase 3 starts when boss comes back from third phase 2. Phase is similar to phase 1, but the boss is enraged. Okay, so it's not really a good overview, but anyway. New ability on heroic. Throughout the ability, Valkyr ads will appear and grip a random player. Oh! The more players who soak the initial grip, the weaker the pull will be. Oh, that's cool. Somewhat similar to the Arthas encounter, I guess. Anyway, you fight the boss itself. On Heroic and Mythic, you have to deal with Valkyr ads attempting to pull players off the platform. Okay. Okay, this is Heroic only. So that's the mechanic. They're not Valkyrs, though, are they? What the fuck? Wow, they're Mossworn. What kind of idiot put Valkyrs? What the fuck? It's not even close to what those things are. They're just the Mossworn dudes from the Maw. Anyway, a Stygian abductor hooks a player, dragging them to the platform's edge. The more players standing in the chain, slower the pull. After 6 seconds, the abductors drop to the ground. Yo, we should just let a couple people die for sure. Oh, it's like when it starts. Interesting. Not like during it? Ah, yeah, look, that's pretty bad. There's only 3-4 people in that one. Stack on the targeted player. I wonder how many people you need. Okay, Annihilating Glare. That doesn't look good. The boss frequently casts a gigantic beam on an edge of the platform and then rotates around the platform. Use the... Oh, what the fuck? That's cool as shit looking. What the hell's that? Oh my god, it's an awesome ability. Wow, this is a pretty cool idea. You click them. Holy shit, that is neat. God, that is very neat. Is this like a melee, no melee fight? Like what? Can you attack them? I guess you could attack them, right? This has got to be the worst melee fight I've seen. What the fuck? That's odd. Just as long as you're up against the edge, you can attack. Okay. Soul Shatter. Throws projectiles on the ground. Any player hit will spawn fragments of themselves. Walk over the fragments to remove heavy damage, healing reduction debuff. Dodge the white AoEs. If you get hit, make sure to walk on the soul. Isn't that nice? Huh. So if you get hit, you do the mechanic. Otherwise, you dodge it, and that's it. That guy went and got hit by it on purpose to show, I guess. Okay. Eye Bolt. Throughout the fight, random players receive damage from invulnerable mobs. Simply heal through the damage. What to do? Spot heal. It's a good idea. Heavy physical 4-second cast on the tank that replicates a portion of its damage to the raid. Use damage after mitigation is reflected. Try to reduce as much damage as possible to limit the raid-wide damage taken. Use mitigation before it hits Deathlink. Unleashes dark energy at the current target. In addition, the impact radiates a portion of the damage inflicted to all of the players as shadow. It's physical, though. It's interesting. Piercing lens. Physical damage on the tank. Equivalent to melee attacks, but since the eye has no arms, there you go. What to do? Nothing particular. Okay, so that's a pretty straightforward fight as well. That's a very easy fight, it looks like. Let's see it. That guy got hit, so he has to do the mechanic. He's a noob. Okay, dodge, guys. Come on, dodge the beams. Use the chain. Good, 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 good. Watch. Oh, somebody just ran right through the edge. They fall off. That's the whole fight? What? Oh, that's phase 1. Okay, okay, okay. Phase 2. The boss retreats and summons 2 mini-bosses. Tank them away. See, that would have been the whole fight in Wrath. So, anyway, the boss retreats and summons 2 mini-bosses. Tank them away from each other and kill them at the same time. Sounds like a good idea. The boss moves away from the platform and becomes invulnerable. They must be killed at the same time or they'll start channeling a nasty cast with a stacking debuff. Oh. Keep ad spread. Kill at the same time. Ah, I see. And they start really far away from each other. God, this has got to be one of the worst fights in the game for melee, right? Holy fuck. That's pretty nuts. Tank both adds 30 yards away from each other and kill them at the same time. Otherwise, they do a stacking debuff. Okay. Spreading misery. 5-second dot on random player. Will drop a zone on the ground when dispelled or when it expires. Try to drop them far from the raid, out of the way of players. Interesting. Is it only in this phase? Oh, that's a bad one there. Holy fuck. Who dropped that? That guy runs into it to see if he can get rid of it. Nope. That's a bad one. So you really got to make good use of this room, I guess, is the main mechanic here. Desolation Beam. Chain lightning kind of spell, bouncing to nearby players, but damage is doubled each time it bounces. God, that's an old school mechanic right there. Oh, it's got a big ring around it? What? That is not what you would expect. So not a chain lightning mechanic, it's just a fucking don't stand in this. That's, yeah, okay. I mean, I guess that's the way the game looks nowadays, but that's kind of strange. That sounds like a very similar mechanic to something from a long time ago. Just killed everybody. Okay, how long do you have to get out, though? I don't know. 6-second cast, so... Okay, Soul Shattered. Throws projectiles on the ground. Any player hit will spawn fragments of themselves. This is the exact same mechanic, right? Same mechanic. Titanic Death Gaze. 8 seconds cast and raid-wide damage. What to do? Heal everyone. That's a really good idea. Deathseeker Eye. This is the ads themselves. Physical damage on the tank. Similar to auto attacks. Not much. Suffering. When the ads are within 30 yards or not killed evenly, they cast spell. Keep ads away and kill at the same time. Good idea. Slothful Corruption. 21-second dot snare that also weakens random players. Can be dispelled. Prioritizing casters. Interesting. That's just something the ads do, I guess. Okay, so this is phase 2. Let's see it. Split up. 10 and 10, I guess. 1 tank, 2 healers. Move, guys. Come on. Spread. Good. Put those on the edge. Very good. What is that? What was that? That guy has to do his mechanic now because he's noob. I was actually a healer. So that girl, I mean. 21-second dot snares. This has got to be it. But it's actually a mechanic that you have to move out from. So that's the thing you drop on the ground. Desolation Beam. Oh, that's Desolation Beam, I see. That's move out with that. The problem is I'm not going to know what these things look like. That's going to be the big issue. Hey, Size, what's up, buddy? Okay, so phase 3. Upon coming back from the third, phase 2, boss enters phase 3. The phase is for third. That happens a lot then, yeah. The phase is similar to phase 1, except that the raid gains a stacking debuff that deals damage and reduces healing received. Soften rage, and the boss also casts chain lightning, doubling damage spell too. Okay, enraged mechanic. 50 attack speed and stacks a debuff on the raid that inflicts damage and reduces healing with each stack. Bloodlust and finish it. Okay, so lust at the end. You definitely don't want to lust on the pole because you're just going to push the boss into the phase 1 immediately. Or the transition. The boss takes extra damage. Cast Desolation Beam for phase 1. We won't be animating. Sorry, these things require a lot of time. Fuck. Hey, Theo, what's up? Okay, so let's see what these other things say. Hey, Theo, how's it going? Oh, this is the Death Knight specific one. Single target check fight? I guess so, yeah. This has got to be like the worst fight I've ever seen for melee. But yeah, that's a really interesting encounter. Okay, so let's see what this one says first. When someone gets targeted with a white circle, several players should stack inside of that circle. Everyone in the... So this is the actual heroic only mechanic. Okay. Don't get pulled off. Thanks for another interesting gold video. Alright, man. Glad that you're enjoying it. I see, like, everybody who's at range collapses on that one. Okay. That's heroic, though. Oh, a Giga one-shot laser. You came just in time. Oh, you're talking about golf. Nice. Yeah, that'll be the last golf video for a while, unfortunately. They take really long to make. Hey, Caliban, what's up? Very cool mechanic. Okay, spreading misery. Intermission adds will target the tank and one random target and do light ticking shadow damage to them. Upon removal, the misery spreads to the ground beneath the target, leaving a pool. I see. Try to drop these away from important areas. What would you say is the minimum eye level to allow into heroic? No idea. I don't really pug raids, so I have no idea. Too hot for golf anyways. Nah. Definitely not too hot. I love golfing in the heat. I see. So it's just like a thematical thing that it's coming from the tank, but it has nothing to do with the tank. Okay, so no real comp requirements. Healers should be tracking. Healers should be tracking. Oh, like the putt. It's about to go in the hole, guys. Tracking. Focus on the eyes if they're up. I assume there was supposed to be a mechanic there. It's not there. Focus on the eyes if they're up. Abductors don't really do much. Oh. Probably want to lust phase 3 just for safety. Ignore abductor completely if you can focus boss and skip the next one. Oh, that's a good point. Thinks this is literally one of the easiest fights in the raid. I can see why. Drop the pools in the far back of the room and on the edge of the platform. Should grab a weak ore to make it obvious you have the pool drop coming. That's a good point. Soak the angel. Yep. Don't be afraid to use chains. It's not that big of a damage loss. Just live. Yeah, this is going to be a really bad fight for melee. I can already tell. Okay, so that's it for that fight. Oh god, the next fight's called the 9. I can only fucking imagine that's going to be really complicated. Okay, so anyway, Eye of the Jailer. 3 phase transitioning at 25%. Last boss phase has an enrage. Every phase, dodge white swirlies. Boss phase, dodge death beam. Use chains and corner to teleport. Oh, extra action button. That's unfortunate. Soak, heroic only chain circle. That's so you don't get pulled off the platform. And then the ad phase, tank them 30 yards apart. Dispel slothful corruption. Run out, drop spreading debuff as far away as can. And spread desolation beam. Okay. Alright. So that's yeah, seemingly a very interesting encounter, but pretty straightforward. Let's do the pineapple now. Where is it? Pineapple. Pineapple of the Jailer. Good one. A teammate is being abducted, so yeah, we need to stand in this. Oh, what the fuck? What the hell? How the hell are you even gonna dodge that on this shit? So don't stand in those, otherwise you have to go do a mechanic. Let's see what it looks like. Oh. What? That's not what that does. I don't even really care if a teammate's being abducted. He's not even a teammate. Not interested. Sorry, guys. See you later, pineapples. Oh no! Fuck those teammates. I could solo this shit. Keep the eyes away from each other? Oh, you can't. We have no tank. Oh, I see. They must be killed at the same time? Sure. Get away from teammates, so we're in the transition phase. Oh, I killed somebody. Fuck. Okay. Great success. Use one of the harpoons to avoid the beams. Oh, and we have to decide which direction we're going on based on the way he starts. The jailer just converted your pineapples into his? Yeah. He's gonna feast well on that Hawaiian pizza tonight. So that's the chain lightning spell. So it looks like, based on this, you won't ever kill them equally, but maybe not. Maybe you will. If you have two players. Alright, we'll help them this time. Although it seems in our benefit to not kill that, because then we don't have to kill the abductor. Okay, it's about to go in rage. Run these out quick. Definitely other mechanics happening in this phase besides just kill them. Oh, there it is. Swag jump, just go over there for no reason. Use one of the harpoons to avoid the beams. Okay, I just did that. Must be a BM pineapple. Okay, we're gonna... This guy's going down. The face when you get abducted by pineapples and your raid leader says, forget them, burn boss. Yeah, fuck them. Like, legit, I don't even care. I could easily solo this. If raiding was this easy to solo, I wouldn't even need other players. Why would I bother? Okay, so that's fight 2 out of 10. Making good progress. Gonna take about 30 minutes each, it seems. Anything else? Oh yeah, the DK only stuff. The pulling effect of dragging chains can be negated thanks to Death's Advance. If you're hit by Fractured Soul, use Death's Advance will negate the slowing effect to quickly recover your soul fragments. What classes are you guys recruiting? Any ranged or a healer, especially like a ranged that also can heal at times. Mythic only. Hopeless lethargy slowing effect will be passively ignored. Yeah, we don't. It's gonna be not a concern right now. Heroic is all we're worried about. Okay, so next up is the 9. Now I've seen these fights quite heavily, so this one is the last one I don't know for a while, and I have no idea about any of those fights. The 9. Okay, fight overview. This fight consists of 2 phases and 1 intermission. During phase 1, you fight 2 mini-bosses. Damaging one of them down to a certain HP percentage will activate the phase 2 boss. Dodge and dance and mechanics. You truly are a beautiful swan. What the fuck is this? Anyway, use the 2 mini-bosses. Until the 2 mini-bosses are dead, you'll naturally fight both mini-bosses and face 2 bosses at the same time. Try to keep this intermission short. What? During phase 1, you fight 2 mini-bosses. Okay. Heroic changes. New ability. Phase 2 starts when one mini-boss reaches 15% instead of 10%. In phase 2, the Skidja sometimes instantly replicates the 3 abilities from Call of the Valkyr. This might force you to plan ahead for bad combos. Also in phase 2, Skidja occasionally links 2 players together. I don't know what that is. Okay, so I thought there was going to be 9 bosses. I guess that's not what this is. Oh, it's like 9 Valkyr dudes. Okay, anyway, Wings of Rage. At 100 energy, stop this. Kyra pulls all players towards her for 7 seconds. Any player standing inside her AoE will take lethal damage. And be stunned for 10 seconds, just in case you're an idiot and you survive. Run away from Kyra's deadly AoE. Was this always the same bosses? I thought it would kind of be like Paragons of the Galaxy. Maybe it is. It's probably the same fight, honestly. Okay, why does that keep starting? Stop that. It just like starts on its own. It's killing me. Okay, reverberating refrain. At 100% energy, Signa pushes all players back for 7 seconds. Any player standing outside her AoE bubble will take lethal damage and a 6-second fear. This fight is so confusing. I have no idea. I guess those 2 are always out, right? And they're probably... Oh, that's right. This is like that fight in Throne of Thunder. They have mechanics that do the complete opposite of each other, and they alternate them. So this one makes you run away, and this one makes you run in. All players standing outside her AoE bubble will take lethal damage and a 6-second fear. Yeah, see, that guy's dead. That guy's fucking... He's going down. That guy's going down. Okay, then Agatha. Waves of Valkyrs rush across the room, knocking back players and inflicting heavy physical damage. Easy to dodge. Wait, what was that? That was a different mechanic. That's kind of cool. Similar to Denathrius, though. Dashlaz Mighty Anvil. Players are targeted by a 20-yard AoE that inflicts heavy shadow damage to anyone in it. Spread out. Spread out from the raid when targeted by the giant AoE. Oh, that's a big AoE. One of the larger AoEs. Wowzers. Oh, wowzers. Okay, that's a big one. Looks like 2 go out as well. Anil hides bright... What is going on in this fight? Where are all these targets? Summon a giant protection zone under one of the bosses, reducing their damage if they're standing inside it. Move the boss out. That's a tough one there. Oh, is that? Yeah. This is going to be a mess of a fight, isn't it? Arande's falling... See, fights like this may not be that hard to understand, but it's so hard to raid lead because there's so many different targets and the names of things are all messy. This is a fight that I could tell we're going to struggle with. 4 fixed zones are marked in the room. Players must enter each zone and soak the damage. If a zone is unsoaked, it explodes and deals heavy raid-wide damage. Oh, that's that kind of mechanic. Oh, we've seen that kind of mechanic before, guys. We know all about that one. Brinja's Mournful Dirge. Players are marked with a bomb that leaves a dot. After 6 seconds, the bomb detonates, inflicting heavy shadow damage to any player within 3 yards, 5 yards. Oh, that's that. Oh, that's that. Oh, we know that one, too. That's spread. That one you spread from. Arathura's Crushing Gaze. Player is targeted by a meteor upon detonation. How does this happen all in one fight? What the fuck is going on in this encounter? Stack with Ice Meteor. Split the damage. Call of the Valkyr. Skidja triggers a sequence of 3 out of 6 possible abilities. Play the mechanics. Okay, I will play them. We don't get a link of that? Kyra the Unending. Summons an ad that continually casts an interruptible raid-wide AoE ability. What to do? Kick. Unending Strike. Tank swap mechanism. A heavy physical damage on the tank that inflicts a stackable 10% increase. The raid also takes damage each time the tank is hit. Each stack of the debuff also increases the damage on the raid. That's interesting. 3 stacks, so the 3rd stack is going to hit everybody pretty hard. Scornful Blast, 2-second cast. There's just way too much going on, so I have no idea what's even... That's phase 1, by the way. What the actual fuck? I know, okay, there's only 2 phases. Dude, what is going on with my PC? It's like pumping. Maybe I should close WoW, huh? This fucking website is using a lot of resources. Holy shit, Google Chrome's using 70% of my CPU. What the fuck? Okay, this website's a little too heavy. It's because all these dumbass things are playing constantly. Okay, so... No idea what I'm even looking at. Do we actually only fight 2 bosses? I have to reread this. Consists of 2 phases and 1 intermission. During phase 1, you fight 2 mini bosses. Damaging one of them down to a certain HP will activate the phase 2 boss. Dodge and dance the mechanics. Until the 2 mini bosses are dead, you'll naturally fight both mini bosses and the phase 2 boss at the same time. Oh, I see. So you want to try to keep them at the same health pool, basically, so they both die at the same time. I think. Okay, phase 2 starts when one of the mini bosses reaches 10% HP. 15 on Heroic, and 20 on Mythic. Skidja, the final boss, comes down with her own set of abilities. Quickly kill the 2 mini-bosses from Phase 1 in order to reduce the number of mechanics the raid must handle, then focus on Skidja. But so all those other mechanics that have to deal with the other 9 Valkyr dudes are not going to go away, or what? Fragments of Destiny. Several players receive a stackable dot when dispelled. The dot jumps to the closest player. Once all the dots are on the same player and it's dispelled. Wow, that's a confusing kind of mechanic. Creates a 10-yard AoE zone on the ground for the rest of the fight that inflicts damage. Oh, maybe it's this pineapple shit, actually. Oh my god, it was the pineapple shit. Wow. That's pretty nuts. That pineapple thing was using like 50% of my CPU. What the fuck? Well, we don't really need to be on WoW anyway. Okay, so... It's a 10-yard AoE zone. I gotta see this one. So it always goes to the closest person. So you want one person to get... Oh, that's actually a very interesting mechanic. Wow, that's a really interesting mechanic. Very interesting. Several players receive a stackable dot. When dispelled, the dot jumps to the closest player. Once all dots are on the same player and it's dispelled, it creates a 10-yard AoE zone. Wow, that's really interesting. God, that's a fucking interesting fight mechanic. Call of the Valkyr triggers a sequence of 3 out of 6 possible abilities. Handle each mechanic. Oh, I can do that. The last sequence of 3 abilities are executed all at once at the end. Might not be able to do that. Links 2 players together for 30 seconds. 60% of any damage taken by a player link is replicated to the other player. The tooltip says otherwise, but this is how it worked during Mythic testing. Not sure how it's going to be on release. Okay. Tank swap mechanic. Stackable debuff that inflicts physical damage and reduces movement speed. Okay, so I actually have no idea what the tank's role is on this fight. Do we keep them together? This fight, I have no idea what this fight is. What's this one say? Okay. I thought there was going to be 9 bosses, so I guess I confused myself. Call of Valkyr. So that's the combo. Dodge, black lines, run out, purple circles, move boss, soak, purple circles, spread, little white circles, share soak, big blue circle of death. So now that okay, let's log back into WoW, actually, because I want to see what this fights thing says. I think it's overly complicated, and it's probably a lot more understandable than this. This is an actual, this is all one mechanic. Yes, this is all one mechanic. Okay, I see now. Love these streams since I learned at the same time. Sweet, what's up, buddy? Yeah. That's the goal. I gotta do it anyway, so I figured I might as well. This fight looks really fucking weird, though. Some cool stuff, but I guess, yeah, I guess it's just... How often... I just want to see if we can get any more info on that. Okay, Call of the Valkyr. Let's go ahead. There it is. Calls for fallen compatriots, drawing some of them forth to attack. Oh. Wait, are these all mobs that we've killed in Shadowlands so far? Oh, that's kind of neat. So we're actually only fighting 9. The Dark Pact Sylvanas struck with the Valkyr forged her bond with the jailer. Through the years, these winged sisters faithfully served the Dark Lady, even if it meant sacrificing themselves on her behalf. Now Sylvanas calls her 9 Valkyr. Oh, these are actually Valkyr? Wait, what is this? This isn't even... I didn't even see this on... The 9 is just Paragon... No, it's not. I thought that's exactly what I thought it was going to be, but it couldn't be further from that. Completely different type of encounter. What website are you looking at? It's called Mythic Trap or something. Yeah, mythictrap.com. I don't know what the fuck that name is about, but... Anyway, yeah, this is really not even close to the same encounter. Okay, I still don't know what this is, though. Okay, no, I think I do. So let's have one more look at all this, because this is so fucking confusing. Okay, so the main bosses are Kyra, right? And who else? Kyra and Signa. Gracias? Oh, no problem, buddy. Project, Jesus. That's funny. Okay, so... I'm pretty sure their guides are supposed to be in conjunction with Scribe's videos. Oh, really? Okay, so this is the mechanic she does, and this is the mechanic she does, and that's it. That's like the main mechanics for those bosses, and then every other mechanic comes from the ads that aren't actually ads. They're not attackable. Kyra beats her wings, pulling all players to her location. Upon completion, Kyra lashes out and deals damage. So you don't want to get hit by that. But Formless Mass, I don't know what this is. Is this on here somewhere? Okay. I see. So now that I understand it, all of this is just one mechanic, and it just happens in various... So you need to know all of these things, but it doesn't actually... Like, they're all pretty obvious. Just don't need to know the names of them, really. Okay, summons an ad that continuously casts an interruptible raid-wide AoE ability. That's what she does. And then the other one... Interruptible channel that applies the stacking raid-wide dot. So this is not an ad. This is just part of the fight. It's part of the boss. Long time. How you been? It's funny. How you been, man? Okay, so... Unending Strike. That's a tank swap mechanism. So we'll just swap between the two bosses. Okay. Damn, this is... Now that I understand this fight, I'm a lot more interested in it. Okay, it's actually more similar to the two chicks, the Mogu chicks in Throne of Thunder. Only all the mechanics don't radiate from the boss, basically. They have like competing mechanics, and they have to die at the same time. So it's similar to that fight more than it is to Paragons for sure. But then there's a new fight at the end, effectively, that we have to learn. That's such a cool mechanic right there. Fragments of Destiny. That might be one of the coolest mechanics I've ever seen. The end is going to be super easy on normal, though, because it's only 10%. So that won't be a hard fight on normal, at least. Really complicated encounter, but... Okay, so let's see what the other groups are saying. Okay, so... Yeah, 10% for normal. Provided the, well, actually, I don't know. Maybe the last boss has ton. Actually, that's probably not even true. Yeah, I was assuming it was only we have to deal 10% more damage, but that's probably not what it is. You just have to kill them. Then there's a whole new fight, basically. The fact that it's called the 9 is so confusing. It's unbelievable. Tell you what. Okay, I don't want to see all these mechanics again because it's going to be way too confusing. Let's just move on. This is way too confusing because there's so many mechanics for this one ability. And they're just random, effectively, from what I could tell. You just have to know them all. Okay, so phase 1, make sure just to kick the ad. It can focus or ignore depending on what you want to do. It'll die to cleave. Could either lust on pull or when big boss comes down, depending on tuning. It's 1 minute 30 like it was in PTR. Oh, it's that fast? Holy shit. Hold lust for pull 2 or 3. Max this to lust at 3 because pull is easy. 2 or 3 is a lot of mechanics. Okay. That's interesting. Line up speed taunt for when Skidget drops her AoE DR. Speed taunt. Yeah, that'll happen. She goes into spell queue immediately afterwards and will sit in it if you don't move her quick enough. It's a pain in the ass. Okay, word of recall is predictable. It will repeat the most recent 3 Call of Valkyrie spells. Hardest one is everyone soaking under boss. Boss spread out soak and then spread out circles. Falling strike. Pray for good RNG or assign 4 people with small spread circles to soak the 4 orbs in the room and have the... Yeah, that actually makes sense. Because one is like literally spread and soak at the same time. Interesting. 90% DR was cast. It was the last call of Valkyrie before boss. Move boss to the edge of the platform because you know it's going to come again and you don't want to... smart. Okay, during a word of recall, it's a good idea to immune sack the crushing gaze meteor instead of risking soaking with too few people. And it's magic damage. Okay. So that's a good call. So if the person gets it and they have an immunity, they should solo it. Boss is movable during word of recall. Word of recall and fragments are the only 2 things that will probably wipe you on heroic. Fragments. For fragments, have all 3 targets move to a marker and dispel 1 at a time. Oh yeah, that's the final phase fight. They get dispelled, then move back to the group, then dispel again. Move back to the group. Once the final person is 3 stacks, dispel them and leave the puddle on the edge of the room. That is such a unique encounter mechanic. I've never seen something like that before. Falling strike orb number 1. What? What is falling strike? That's one of these mechanics. 4 zones. Oh, that's always at the exact same spots? Oh. Oh, I see. Okay. So they're just always in the exact same spots. These 4 help to have set blue fragment set fragment locations for groups to move to for dispels. Oh, okay. So that's a pretty cool fight. I'm actually now that I understand it, I'm very excited for this fight. It seems like a really unique encounter. I totally got baited into thinking this was actually going to be 9 bosses, but no, not even close. Not even close. Man, what is this? Oh, who gives a fuck about this? Okay, cool. Anyway, I thought it was something with actual players we're going to interact with. Alright, so... what else we got? Cheat sheet. So that's, we read all that stuff. Run out and interrupt her ads. Then for the other boss, run in and interrupt her cast. Yeah, it's actually a really straightforward encounter. Once you know all those, that's probably why it's so complicated, because it's like, that's it. That's the whole fight. Once you know how to do all of those things, so you either dodge the lines, either run out of circles, either move boss, either soak circles to drain them, either spread from little white circles, or you soak the big blue circle of death. Everybody share soak. Okay, cool. It's actually not that complicated. But I bet it will be to learn, because everybody's probably only going to see it once or something like that in the first few nights. Man, this is a very interesting encounter. And what does it say for DK? Formless ads can be gripped and stunned. Oh, wow. Push you back out of a zone. You can use Death's Advance to ignore the pushing effect. You find yourself outside of said zone, you will be feared. AMS and Lichborn can prevent this effect. Or you can just do the mechanic right. I mean, I guess it helps to know that, but... if uninterrupted, she'll put a stacking dot. AMS can prevent said dot application. And that would be a wipe, right? I don't know why they even put this on here. All these mechanics that, like, if you do them wrong, you're going to wipe. Oh, it is unclear what happens if all the fragments from other players jump to you with AMS active. That is a good question. Will form straight lines that knock you back if you're going to hit. Okay, so. So really not anything specific for DK. It's hard-casted Link Essence. Using AMS can make you a very less likely target to be affected by this ability. Yeah, nothing really tank-related, it seems. Okay, I'm pretty satisfied with this fight. Let's see the pineapple shit now. I think I understand it, actually. Don't show your email address login. What does that mean? Okay, here we go. The pine. That's funny. Metroid, the Zoval's Vault group are starting to get ready active. Alright. Are Stratton to get ready active. I have no idea what the fuck you're saying, dude. Okay, so anyway, we're killing these. Try to damage the bosses evenly. Agreed. When either of them reaches 15, a third boss will appear. Dodge. Sun. Okay. Split the damage with your allies. Can do. They're all already here, luckily. Get away. I can. The screen you just had up had your email address visible to all. I'm not worried about that, dude. Get away from teammates. Soak the soaking thingy. Did it. Great success. Stay near the boss. That's her mechanic. Imagine if you actually had a solo bosses and you had to keep them separated like this. I'll go over here, guys. You guys are all in terrible spots, but sure, I'll move. Oh no, a third boss. Oh no. Finish the other two. Okay, that one just exploded. Split the damage with your allies. I would, but they're all on the wrong side. Okay, we'll finish this one up. Multiple players are debuffed. All debuffs must be transferred to one player. So I run over there, and that person just explodes. Is that how that's gonna look? Yeah, I think this fight is actually very easy. It's just so weird. Oh, that's not good. Can that actually happen? It's just such a strange delivery of the mechanics because there's so many mechanics. I guess it's similar to Paragons in the fact that there's that many mechanics, but they don't... Like on Paragons, they didn't all happen until you fought the boss. But now it's like they all happen as the fight works. Like that's how it works. Okay, we're about to win. This fight's over. Yeah, this fight's over. This boss going down. This boss gonna die. Oh yeah. Fuck yeah, man. We got it. Woo! TacticalAirHorse.itch.io. I'll tell you what, that might be the most sketchy fucking name for a website I've ever seen in my entire life. Okay, cool. So that wasn't that bad. A little bit less complicated than I thought it was. Alright, next up we have the Remnant of Ner'zhul. What does this boss look like? Doesn't actually look like Ner'zhul. Just some random ass dude. Okay. What, I still don't even know what Zoval's vault is. What is that? Okay, anyway, alright, so next fight. You fight Ner'zhul on a platform. This fight has several knockback mechanics. Players have to spread out to the edge when they have a certain debuff. When dispelled, it knocks back the whole raid, so carefully plan dispels. Yeah, that's a cool mechanic. Tanks have to position a beam to hit some adds. Raid must avoid the beam. Another cool mechanic. These next three fights are fucking awesome. Okay, fight changes. On Heroic, when dispelled from Malevolence, players now drop an AoE patch on the ground inflicting damage. This change forces you to move outside the raid to get dispelled and optimize the space of the platform. There's only one phase in this fight as well. I love this. This is probably one of my favorite fights. Okay, targeted players must go to the edge and wait for the dispel. And this is on Heroic only, right? Oh, that guy's knocked off. See you later, buddy. 2 random players get a debuff on expiration or dispel. They drop a void zone on the ground and get knocked back based on where their back is facing. They also bump the whole raid and inflict damage to everyone. Healers should dispel when both players are in position and ready. Try to avoid dispelling when the boss throws projectiles around the room. He's doing these projectiles a lot, it looks like. Okay. And it knocks you back from that person, so... Yeah, everybody stacks. Oh, okay. A lot of mechanics to dodge, though. Okay, targeted players. Okay, we read that. Suffering. The boss has a 3-second cast, which creates a damaging beam on the tank. Increasing damage taken by the next suffering beam by 500% to any player hit by it. Most importantly, any orbs hit by the beams become vulnerable to damage. The targeted tank should position himself and the boss to hit as many orbs as possible, while the raid avoids the beams. DPS should switch to the orbs once they're debuffed. Okay. The boss will sometimes cast a beam on the tank that must not hit the raid, but hit the orbs. Huh. Yeah, okay, so how does that actually work? Oh, I see. You don't move the boss, you just stand there. I see. Or you make him face them, I guess. Hit a couple DPS there. As long as they don't get hit by him twice, they should live, though, it looks like. Okay. And that's called Suffering. So that's one that I have to know very well. Orb of Torment. Differing orbs appear around the room, frequently damaging the raid. Until hit by the tank ability, orbs are invulnerable. When they reach 1 HP, players can interact with them and bring them to the edge and throw them off. That's so fucking cool. Damn, that is so cool. Increasingly slowed. I bet that's going to be a good one for DKs. Kill the orbs when they are vulnerable and interact with them to throw them out. That's such a cool fight, I'll tell you what. Look at that player. He's going to go throw that out. Oh, see you later. Fucking launch that thing. Get the fuck out of this fight, man. Orb of Torment, lol. Okay, Grasp of Malice. 3 black beams appear on the platform. See, I thought this was the mechanic that we hit them with. Not the mechanic. That's a separate mechanic. Or is it? It's a coincidence. The tank is also doing the frontal beam at the same time. I see. Just a coincidence. Okay, Shatter. Frequently, that's the Lich King. As the kids say, yeet. Yeah, yeet. Frequently, the boss throws waves of projectiles to the ground near players. At 80, 60, and 30, the boss loses a piece of its armor, inflicting raid-wide damage and increasing the amount of projectiles it throws. Oh shit, look at that. So this is what it looks like in phase 1 or something? Wow, this is going to be a crazy fight. Another probably awful fight for melee. Or if you get hit, you get silenced. Probably take a bunch of damage too. Oh my god, it's going to be an awful fight. Actually, it might not be... Oh my god. Holy fuck. Wow, that's a bizarre encounter. Bizarre mechanic, at least. Or of spite. Throughout the whole fight, the boss inflicts 3-second ticking damage to the whole raid. Okay, let's see it. So Malevolence, 2 players get a debuff that knocks the raid back when dispelled. Okay, cool. Suffering, that's you gotta aim this at these orbs. Bonk. Kill that thing. We killed it. And then you fucking kick that thing out of there, man. You kick it out of here. That's so cool. I love that mechanic. And that's it. That's the whole fight. Very straightforward encounter. Okay, get those out and just knock people. Probably want to have the second person out there ready to go. Orb of Torment, just have the boss hit that thing, and now we kill it. See you later. And then some very skilled individual is going to go pick it up and kick it. That's so cool. I love that.
Metro, what do you think is the best healer for Mythic Plus? Blood Death Knight.
Veerheart, what's up, buddy? Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for becoming a sponsor again, or renewing your thing, I guess. Okay, that seems like a really interesting encounter. Raid size scaling. That's a good tip. I wonder what that's going to look like. Different orbs will spawn around the room and do raid damage until the tanks hit these orbs. Yeah, okay. So we know this fight. This is a really easy fight. Assign your best 2 healers as designated Dispeller 1 and 2. Uh-oh. Who wants to step up for that? Can't stress enough that when you get dispelled, you are knocked backwards in the direction of the way your back is facing. That's for all players? Use your barriers and Spirit Link totems during shatters. What is shatters again? Oh, really? Why would you want somebody to be in a barrier for a mechanic that you're meant to dodge? I guess there's nothing else to use it on. So if somebody gets hit, you don't want them to die? That's not... Yeah, that's probably only going to confuse people. Shatter swirlies are easy. Move out of first ones. Once they explode, move out of second ones into the area that first one's covered. One of the few ways you'll lose people is by dispelling during swirlies on the ground. Just plan accordingly about when to dispel. On Heroic, you can realistically just always hover in the middle of the room and do dispels whenever, as long as there's no puddles out. Okay, cool. Alright, so that's interesting. And then just markers around the room. Okay, cool. I like that. I quite like that fight. That's going to be a really cool one. What does it say? Black pizza slices. We like those. Use Suffering Cleave to kill orbs. I don't even think this fight's like the easiest fight, honestly. I feel like I understand this fight perfectly. I don't feel like I need to even look at this fight at all. I guess that's what happens when it's a one-phase fight, but... Guardian of the Sweet One? Remnant of Photosynthesis? This is the boss we're doing, right? I have no idea. These fucking dumbass names. What's that over there? Orbs periodically deal damage to the raid. It's invincible until hit by a tank mechanic. Oh, that's the tank. So he's going to do that mechanic. That's unfortunate. So this is the swirls. We dodge. Just move back into where they were. Damn, that looks awesome. I bet this tank mechanic is gonna be fucking... I'm gonna suck at this probably. Oh my god. Okay, so don't get knocked off. I'm dead though. That was the first time I actually died on this. Oh, we didn't actually kill it. So now he's hit it. And now we have to kill it, yeah. How do you click it? Oh, that's neat. Yeah, good call. Okay, so don't get knocked off. What? Well, that was a lot farther than I thought it was gonna be. Jeez. Yeah, this is probably a good, this one represents the fight pretty well, I feel like. It's gonna be a lot of movement in this fight. I wonder how difficult this was to make. Like, I think we burn. This boss going down. This boss gonna die. Yeah, this boss going down. Don't even kill. Don't even kill. No, no, no. Burn, 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 burn. Burn, 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 burn. Yes! Yes! Okay, see you later, pineapple. Alright, so that's a really straightforward fight. I like that fight. I can't wait to see how that fight goes as a tank. Alright, so next up we have the Soulrender Dormazain, and this is the fight that's really good for Blood DK. CC and kill the ad summoned by the boss before they reach Garrosh. Yeah, Garrosh. Still don't understand what that's about. Dodge and dance through the mechanics. You truly... Okay, we can stop acting like a fucking idiot. You truly are a beautiful swan. Yes, you. Yeah, okay, thanks a lot. Snap Garrosh's shackles when they spawn. New abilities. The boss will now frequently throw projectiles near players to heroic only, inflicting damage to those who are hit. Breaking Garrosh's shackles, leave a dot on the carriers, keeping them from carrying other shackles for the rest of the fight. Oh. There's only one phase of this fight as well. I like that. Dormazain summons multiple clones of shadow damage that fill the room and eventually explode. Yeah, this is like the Hygen fight, right? Or whatever that fight's called. When the clones spawn, find and go to the safe spot. Okay. I think I already understand this fight entirely as well. Dormazain casts a quick succession of torment spells. So yeah, multiple clones of shadows that fill the room and eventually explode. Is that the red things? I don't know what we're actually looking at here. When the cone spawns, find and go to the safe spot. No, that's just the cone. Okay. This is dodge more, dance. Okay, so this is the main. This is okay. It's the main thing. Oh, it's red now. On PTR, it was black. Oh, it's definitely a lot harder too. It looks like it's gonna be a lot more complicated. Boogie Wonderland through the repeated torments. Good. Okay, heroic projectiles are thrown near random players, inflicting shadow damage. Oh yeah, you don't want to get hit by those. I don't know what the red thing is yet though. Okay, warmongering shackles. That must be the shackles. Dormazain summons 3 shackles around Garrosh. Right click to carry them, then move 40 yards away to break them. Doing so will inflict heavy nature damage to the raid, so stagger the chain breaks. After 40 seconds, if the chains aren't broken, Garrosh starts casting Hellscream and wipes the raid. That's really bad. On Heroic and Mythic, players can carry the shackle only once per fight because of a dot they gain from the shackle that lasts the remainder of the fight. Is there going to actually be a reason why Garrosh is here? I don't know. I assume so. Oh, that's still not the red thing. Okay. So that you just run to it and pick it up and run it out. I see. There's like things on the ground.
Okay. Brand of Torment. All right, finally we have the red thing. Dormazain puts a debuff on random players, increasing damage taken by a stackable 50% by and adds within 5 yards. Also inflicts shadow damage to anyone, including players. Use the debuffs on the Moshorn Agonizer adds. Beware of stacking the debuffs as the damage on players can be deadly. Oh, okay. So those things help us. I was going to say, it's a very, very unique mechanic. So it's hitting the players and the ads. Otherwise, the ads die way too slow, I guess. That is a really cool looking mechanic. Puts a debuff on random players, increasing damage taken by a stackable 50% by and adds within 5 yards. I don't get that. That's got to be a typo. Also inflicts shadow damage to anyone, including players. Oh, I see. It doesn't actually even really do damage. It's the main thing is to make it stack. I'm confused. I don't fully understand that mechanic, but I don't think it matters. Rune Blade. Tank swap mechanic inflicts heavy physical damage on the main tank and 100% physical damage taken debuff. River of Souls. The zone around Garrosh inflicts lethal damage, and you can't be healed when inside it, so don't stand there. Soul Manacles. Once a player has interacted with the shackle, they won't be able to interact with the other one, forcing the raid to assign different characters. And ticking shadow damage every 5 seconds for the whole fight. Okay. Moshorn Agonizer. Interruptible 11-second cast that channels shadow damage and a stackable raid-wide 20% snare. If an ad reaches Garrosh, it becomes immune to all CC and deals 200% more damage. So those are the ads that were meant to be gripping. So gonna be a good fight for the Blood Death Knight from what I could tell. They don't even mention it though on the thing. Okay, so we're dodging. Shackles. Come on, guys. Let's get this out. Come on. Let's go. Cop, you'd be great for it. Let's do it, dude. Roll. Yes. Good. Very good. One other. You don't want to do it all at the same. Oh, a tank. Okay. Jix can do it. You don't want to do it all at the same time. Okay, so take those things to the ads, guys. Let's go. Take them. Good. I can grip those ads, too. Really good. That's the whole fight. And then there's dodge really quickly. So we might need a Warlock Portal. Definitely a Warlock Portal from one side to the other. Another very straightforward encounter. Okay, this is... They can be CC'd for short durations. Similar add on Sun King during Castle. Probably worth assigning a priority to burn ads one by one. While the caster ads are live, the boss amplifies the debuff to a couple random players that does dot damage. Brand of Torment icon. Brand of Torment. If no ads are up, just spread out and don't cleave your homies with the debuff. This debuff also works on the caster ads and increases their damage taken by a ton, so the players with this debuff should stack on the ads as much as possible. Yeah, that's pretty good. The debuff switches players a few times, so be ready to stack on it. That's a really cool fight. Really cool encounter. Just kind of show you 5 ads. I can't believe it doesn't even mention Death Grip. It's weird. Everybody's been going on and on about how good of a fight this is going to be for DK because you cannot let these get there. So presumably I can grip, like, I can probably grip, I could even take the legendary. I can probably grip these 2 in and then kind of come here and Gore Fiends 4 of them together. Well, that's only going to happen once on the fight, though, unfortunately. Okay, if ads are up while brand is up, get the brands on top of the ads and just AoE. Probably worth assigning groups of 3 to do chain breaks one at a time. Can roar as the 3rd dance explosion is about to finish. It will help move to the 4th safe zone and will carry over to the 5th and final one. You can gate from one end of the room to the other as long as it doesn't put you through the portal at the front of the room. That's a good tip. I would have not recognized that. And then raid markers for each area. What is this? Cassius's EXRT Weakor. Okay, markers. Yeah, that's fine. So it's pretty another straightforward fight. Look at how little there is. Move, find the safe spot. Chain break, kill ads. This is super easy fight. Okay, cool. Really straightforward fight. Okay, next up is Painsmith Raznal. We're flying through this. This is the last one I actually know. I know this one very well as well. For most of the fight, you deal with the boss alone, handling several mechanics that involve heavy move. Oh, wait, hold on. I forgot the pineapple. We gotta do the pineapple, everyone. So this is pineapple for... Who was it? Guardians of the Sweet One? I don't know what that is. Is that actually a fight? It's one of the last fights. Soulrender Dormazain. Soulrender Dorma Fruit. Okay, that's that one. Probably pays to be closer to the front. Don't let ads reach the back of the room. Is it really going to be two on top of each other like that? I doubt it. If that actually happens... Oh, I killed a friend though. Well, that's their fault. They shouldn't be there. Sorry, pineapple friend. Yeah, let's kill that. Oh, let's see that. Wait. Oh, then I have to go do it. Oh. How did I die? We didn't wait long enough, I guess. Rip teammate? Yeah, fuck that dude, honestly. It's probably just some noob. It won't damage the boss, will it? I mean, melee are definitely going to get hit by this mechanic, right? So I don't know. It's definitely not going to do that much damage. Yeah, no, it's definitely not going to do that much damage. I see. I was at half health when it happened. Alright, I get it. Good healing, by the way, guys. That was really reactive healing. If only pineapples could shoot sideways, these fights would be a lot easier. Oh, this. God, a lot going on in this fight. For a one-phase fight. That's fucking ideal right there. That's why grip is so good, because it can have the ad, have like all the ads hit by one debuff. It seems like there's no actual intermission either. I thought the times when he was doing the full gambit of running around mechanic that there would be an intermission, but I guess that's not the case. Okay. Interesting mechanic. Alright. Painsmith Raznal next. For most of the fight, you deal with the boss alone, handling several mechanics and involving heavy movement and smart positioning. This is another. These three fights are probably the best fights they've made in years, honestly. All back to back. Really, really, really cool fight.
At 70% and 40% HP, the boss enters an intermission for a minute where the raid dodges mechanics and the boss becomes unattackable. The boss frequently throws traps at several players. This is on heroic only. Okay, so we didn't see this. Once activated, trap will detonate if a player walks over them or if the boss mechanic triggers them. Spike balls or spikes. So each subsequent trap that detonates increases the raid damage taken, forcing you to stagger the explosions. Okay, so they're definitely going to hit. Okay, fight the boss until 70% to make it enter intermission for 1 minute. He will be casting a different ability on the tank when it comes back. Same process until 40% for the second intermission. Okay, so above 70, the boss throws its axe at the tank, inflicting damage to the raid proportional to the distance from the tank, forcing a tank swap. The axe instantly summons a massive set of spikes on the line, crossing where the tank stands. Players must position appropriately and dodge spikes. Oh, wow. That guy did not appropriately position. Okay, so this is the one that it's just a big, 2 big lines. There's a bunch of others. I thought this was one of the later ones. So that tank did not get out in time. It's going to be a good fight to be Night Fae, it seems. Yeah, that's it there. Okay. Reverberating hammer. Between 70 and 40, the boss throws its hammer at the tank, inflicting damage to the raid proportional to the distance. The hammer spawns a wave of spikes in a pattern throughout the room. Players must dodge these spikes. Abilities also increase their physical... Yeah, okay. So this is now the wave, and you got to move through it. Okay. And then the final one is both mechanics. He does it 3 phases. Oh, yeah, don't run through that. Somebody eventually has to. And then these rings knock you back. Okay, dual blade scythe. Below 40. So this is both now, right? Yep, then he does both. Cool. Alright, so that's all the tank mechanics. And now, the rest of the fight. The boss frequently summons a line of spiked balls that spawns on a random side of the room and moves across the platform. Players must focus DPS on one spike in order to open a hole and pass through safely. So, haven't seen a fight like this in a while, but it's ironic. The last one was Ner'zhul in WoD challenge modes. Ner'zhul also present in this raid, which is odd, but anyway. Yeah, it's just going to be a big wall. You're going to have to pick one, and I guess that's interesting. They pick like a random one, it seems. That's strange. Strange decision. Why pick that one? Okay. Kill 1 or more spike balls to create an opening in the line. Good. This will actually be a good mechanic for melee, I think. Trigger the traps. Okay, what else? Flame clasp trap. I have not seen this mechanic. Oh, I see. And then the boss, the orbs are gonna roll over them. So those 2 on that same plane there are not ideal. Yeah, this is fucking crazy. Crazily interesting encounter. God, they really have mastered like geometry. Very interesting. It's like the fight is gonna change. It's like you're not always gonna. Well, maybe you do know. I'm not sure how the orbs spawn. Like the balls that roll to you. I don't know how those things spawn. If there's no way to be sure of where they're gonna spawn, it can be very difficult to predict how this fight is gonna play out. But like, see how that person spawned one right on top of it? That's probably the right way to do it. Okay, Shadow Steel Chains. This is that really annoying mechanic. Several selected players carry chains around their character, which applies a dot for 20 seconds. Any player that comes in contact with the chains is knocked back. That's a really big deal because you have to go through the... Like, all of the mechanics are position-based, so you need to have these. And they're just on you for a long time, it seems. How long is it? 20 seconds. Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough mechanic there. That's going to be a tough one. Okay, so let's see. But what about the transition? Doesn't even mention it. Oh, okay.
Alright, so tank mechanic just goes opposite side. Nobody has to do anything. That's phase 1. Now we're at phase 2. Tank mechanic goes this way and people have to dodge it and move through it. Basically already seen all these. That's very strange. It's like a tank only fight, it seems like, for the beginning. Okay. But why doesn't it even mention the... I mean, this happens way more frequently than you'd think. But yeah, you see these people have to be very careful not to knock each other off and then go through at the same time. This is going to be a very hard fight. This will probably be the hardest fight so far. Okay. Now, this mechanic is even more interesting. The boss retreats for a minute. It sends waves of spikes at the players. Each wave takes up the whole length of the room, but has a hole into it where people can pass. Boss also sends projectiles to the raid to spice things up. On Mythic, while dodging spikes, the boss also spawns adds. Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, this is what this fight is going to look like. So you have those 3 circles that are knocking you back, and you have to dodge these spikes. Yeah, but at the same time, he's throwing fire at you, so you need to be spread enough so that the fire doesn't just completely obliterate the raid, and you need to be moving constantly. And this is on Mythic. There's also these adds, which is going to be ridiculous. But yeah, if you get hit by that, you take a ton of damage. I think you probably get stunned, right? Did I say that? Doesn't say if it stuns, but let's see. It probably says it in game. That's just the name of the... Okay. Okay, another... I think it's a really straightforward encounter to understand. I think they've done a good job with that. Other than the 9, I feel like every fight that I've looked at has been very easy to understand, but probably going to be very difficult to execute. But you see, now that's misleading. That's not how you want to do this mechanic. Because if everybody stays in the exact equidistant stack like that, you're going to die. There's just going to be fire all over the group, and you're not going to be able to get out of it. So people need to be not only spread, but they also need to be, there's going to be some people with the rings. Or maybe they changed it, but I don't think they did, to be honest. Or maybe they did, actually, because I don't see it on this video. But when I did it, it was the rings were knocking us all around in this phase as well. So yeah, maybe it just goes away. I don't know. Okay, that's the whole fight, though. Literally, it's everything. Really cool fight. We've seen this a ton now. The tank mechanic, I think I got down. We just have to be able to get to where we want to go. Let's see what they recommend. This would be a really good fight for hunters and probably melee. Presumably melee are never going to get those circle chain things. What's the heroic only mechanic? Was there one? Oh, that's the heroic only mechanic? Oh shit, that's going to be a tough one. Yeah, so run out AoE. After every mechanic, if the tank has to run like all the way to the other side of the room, then you swap, deal with whatever mechanic the tank is doing. There's also going to be those chains on players, make sure they're not knocking each other off. And then you got the wall of the orb spawn, you just kill one and you walk through it. But again, there's going to be the chains, there's going to be other mechanics, so you need to make sure that it's handled right and you need to be ready for it each time. And we need to be deciding which one we're attacking. I don't fully understand why they recommend attacking the second one like that, but... Oh, the tank mechanic can hit these traps as well. Damn, it's going to be tough. Several players... Okay, that's the chains. Chains should always be on the edge of the platform in the back of the group to allow the group to pass. So as long as they never pick melee, this should be relatively easy. Okay, so let's see what they have here. Be very aware of the squares in the room and be patient, but also quick to react to the spikes moving through the room. Chain people always stay in the back and let the rest of the group funnel through. Ports, blinks, etc. are always pretty helpful for this fight.
Tanks always go to the corner with the tank mechanic. Yep. Because if you don't, it's just going to do 4 amounts of the tank mechanic instead of 2. Traps should always be blown up one by one. It helps to drop them in a diagonal line if you have any say, but it can be literally as easy as triggering them by walking over them. Oh, okay. You can do that. Do not use CDs and intermission on the ads. Just dodge the spikes, swirls, etc., and cleave the ads down while playing to live. Ads may have to be killed before the energy bar gets full, but could also maybe be a mythic only mechanic. Ads also might be removed from heroic, yeah. During testing, chains stayed on people if there was a fresh set of chains before intermission. Yes, and it makes intermission really hard for no reason. Either push before chains or let them expire and push immediately after. Oh, okay, so that's something you can control. Lusting last phase is the play for sure. Do not lust pull. If you push the boss to intermission, it gets rid of the spiked balls that are active. Oh, okay. Phase 3 tank spikes are the biggest threat. Phase 3 traps are also a big threat when overlapping with spikes. You need to be really calculated. Interesting encounter. So just a lot of dodge, a lot of position-based stuff. And I love the thing about this fight that it's the room has these squares. You see this? So it's like each square is useful. You know what I mean? Like it's actually exactly like even this thing recognizes it. Look at they put it all on the squares. Really, 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 really good. It's a great fight. These 3 fights are very interesting. I hope they won't be frustrating on Mythic. Seems like a really well-designed encounter. Really smart, really intelligently designed encounter. Markers just to help call out safe spots for spikes. Corners marked just to know where tanks are going. Okay. Now that is it. I do not know any of these fights now. So there's 4 more encounters. I am going to run to the bathroom real quick. And then we will take a look at Guardian of the First one. Actually, no, we got to do the fucking pineapple thing again. Is there any melee or any DPS things that they're talking about? I haven't even read most of these. I forgot about these. Yeah, so they were recommending gripping, obviously. Oh, if you need to get close to the ads inside a Brand of Torment, you can AMS. As unholy, your pet may be able to interrupt the cast of Distant Agonizer ad while the dancing phase happens. Oh, Painsmith Raznal. As a Blood DK, you may AMS to prevent Blackened Armor debuff. Oh. Wait, what? Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Huh. If you're going to get knocked out of the platform because a raid member is near you with Shadow Steel chains, you may Death's Advance. Yeah. If you're going to get hit by a wave of spikes, you can prevent it with Icebound. If it's impossible for you to kill a spike ball or move away from, Icebound will prevent the stun. Yeah, you can actually walk through that as DK. That's nice. I could also blink through it. Heroic or higher. Several traps will explode over the fight, leaving a stacking debuff. AMS may be able to prevent its application. Black Heat was not working properly. If it's unclear if AMS can prevent or stacking debuff during the intermission. Okay, so let's do the pineapple thing. This is called... Still not that boss. I don't know why that's 3rd. Painsmith Rondal. Alright, let's see how they set this one up. Avoid shackled teammates. Yep. Ideally, they're going to move, not just stand in the middle of the room. Stay away from the tank. Alright, that's obvious. Oh, we're not in that phase yet. Not quite there yet, but that's fine. Heroic Mines. Yeah, so we basically say I already fucked it up. Mine's supposed to be triggered, so we'll get rid of that one. Oh, right. Now we gotta kill one of these. Okay. Easy, at least on this. Okay, intermission. Yeah, see, we pushed at the bad time. Yeah, you guys can't really stand there. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this fight is not... This is going to be really unfriendly for pugs. Or for low coordination groups. Jambo, what's up, buddy? Wait, what the hell is that? That's a mechanic? Don't know what that is. That's the wrong order, isn't it? Or maybe not, I don't know. I don't know what these things are, but I'm just gonna kill them. Can those rolling death balls be ran into? No, you have to actually attack them. They don't just go away by running into them. They run you over. That was dangerous. It spawns some kind of ad, I guess? That's the mythic only, I guess, yeah. Or heroic only, maybe? Okay, so now this is going to be the double. Have to dodge and move. I know, I guess they don't have it coded that way. Guess that would be too easy. Oh yeah, it's not. You have to actually kill them. It's just like I don't know if you ever did it, but the Ner'zhul encounter in Shadow Moon Burial Ground. Same encounter, same mechanic. Exact same mechanic. Okay, relatively easy. Obviously the teammates better fucking not stand in the middle of the room with that, but past that, straightforward. I did play some Time Walking Wild Dungeons. I don't know if it was a mechanic in there. Yep, Ner'zhul and Shadow Moon Burial Grounds. Exact same mechanic. Only there's only like 5 skeletons, where there's like 16 or something like that here. Okay, so yeah, I think I know that one very well. Okay, run to the bathroom real quick, then we will continue and do the last 4 bosses, which I know absolutely nothing about. This one looks like it's going to be complicated. Besides that, I have only played during Wrath, BFA, and now Shadowlands. Gotcha. Alright, be right back. Okay, I've returned. Alright, let's see what this is. I know absolutely nothing about all of these last 4 encounters. Never even seen them. Not seen a single thing. Okay, keep the boss from reaching 0 energy by bringing him next to an energy core in the room. Patchwork fight. The elimination pattern ability now includes Obliterate. This is on heroic. An attack on the tank that must also be soaked by the raid in order to split the damage. Sunday will be taken by a tank by themselves and Obliterate right after by the other tank. They should be positioned inside the raid or in melee to split the damage. That's on heroic. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty jealous of the people who get paid to
to things to do things like this for the WoW community. Oh yeah, there's a lot of effort for very little money. I can tell you that. Okay, there's only one phase in this fight. Okay. Okay, purging protocol. The boss slowly loses energy over the fight. When energy reaches 0, it spam casts Purging Protocol, an AoE damage on the raid. Each cast grants a stackable 100% damage done, which quickly results in a wipe. Cast will also destroy all existing sentries. Bring the boss next to a core to restore its energy and remove all the buff stacks. Activating a core cancels the current cast. Use this to your advantage. Let it cast once before going into a core to remove all the sentries. I'm already extremely confused. To avoid lethal damage, let the boss cast Purging Protocol only once. So you cast it once. Purging a second time. Okay. And that's it. Oh, this is like a fucking... Oh yeah, it's like a broker boss. That's interesting. Guardian of the first ones. Huh. Interesting. Okay, so he's gonna hit 0 regardless. That's impossible to ignore, and that's why it's a DPS race, because you only have so many. I see. So you're actually gaining a few seconds of extra DPS every time you do this, right? Okay, energizing link. When brought next to an energy core, the boss regains energy, and its purging protocol cast is cancelled. The white zone around the core appears, reducing the damage from raid-wide AoE by 90%. Any player outside will take lethal damage and will be killed almost instantly. Okay. Get close to the energy core before the tank brings the boss over, or you will get murdered. I see. What, he just does something when he eats it, or what? I don't get it. Yeah, I guess so. Meltdown. After some time, the energy core activated by the boss explodes, inflicting lethal damage to players in its radius and heavy damage to anyone outside. And then it just stays. We have to move out of it. Interesting. I have no idea what those yellow things flying around the room are. Disintegration. The boss faces a player and casts a beam, inflicting massive damage and applying a stun and a dot to any player hit. So don't get hit. Quickly move out. Yep. Form Sentry. Okay, that's the thing. Summon an orb that moves through the room and throws projectiles at random players. Despawns after 40 seconds. Players standing under it are pacified and can't cast. Huh. So you just gotta dodge those. And then he gets rid of them every time he casts the ability. Yeah, okay. The cast will kill the sentries. Alright, that's a very interesting fight. Threat. Oh, there's more. Threat neutralization. Marks several players and bombards them after a few seconds, inflicting heavy arcane damage. Oh, wow. This is a lot more complicated than your average patchwork fight. Okay, that guy's dead. Probably should have AMS'd. Oh, he wasn't the DK. That was Nagi. Oh, this is Echo, yeah. So confused. So there's times you have to spread and stack, I guess. Yeah, there's these times where you actually have to spread and stack. Okay, elimination pattern, tank swap mechanism involving the raid. The boss first casts Sunder, 20-second, 200% damage taken increase. He then casts Obliterate, inflicting massive arcane damage split between players. Sunder must only hit one target, the current tank. After Sunder, the off-tank taunts and takes the Obliterate attack on top of the raid. Oh, that's cool. That's neat. Okay, well, that's the whole fight, I guess. So there's the sentries. We're just constantly looking away from those. We don't want to get hit by those. Eventually he's going to get... Okay, he's doing the beam. We're dodging that. Sunder. This is the tank mechanic. Just solo that. On normal, it probably only happens like that. Then that, we're spreading out. Purging protocol. So we need to get to one of these things to make him eat them. Okay, we did that. That's all fight. All right. Surprising. Spread yellow circles of death. Dodge death lasers. Avoid sentries of irritation. What the fuck? Tank wombo combo. Obliterate split soak. Sunder solo soak. Stack protocol. Let one blast kill sentries, then stack on a pillar. And then run out when pillar explode, run away. Explodes, run away. Cool. So that's a very interesting encounter. Probably like pretty straightforward. I don't know how numerically tuned it's going to be, but the heroic change was this does not happen on normal. Okay. So that's really an easy heroic change. There's not much to that, unless it does a lot of damage, which it probably does. Yeah, I see. So this is the core exploding. So after you do the mechanic, the core explodes, and then you have to run out of it. Okay. Yeah, really not much to it. Phase 1 weapons? What? Wait, what? That didn't even get mentioned. Depending on which weapon the boss has equipped, the tank mechanic will function differently. Huh. Dodge the beams, and the boss will occasionally do. This is targeted random player. Purging protocol. When the boss hits 0, he will spam cast this, deal big AoE damage to the entire raid. Bring the boss next to a core to restore its energy. Looks like you will likely let one cast go through before moving him to the core. When you move the boss to a core, a raid-wide AoE shield will go down, which will reduce damage taken. Make sure you're inside this or you're dead. After some time, the core used to cancel purging protocol will explode, one-shotting anyone and dealing big damage to anyone further than 15 yards. Just run away from the explosion and probably drop raid CD. Okay. So what is this? The fuck? I haven't seen something like that in a long time. Okay, anyway, not much to this, I feel like. Oh, it doesn't drain them entirely either. Well, maybe once you start, you can't stop. That's how I am with potato chips. Then you move out. Okay. Sledge fist without a damage amp. Yeah, not really. Very different fight. You'll likely want to take 2 purging protocols and then move the boss into the core when the 3rd cast is ongoing. Oh, wow, 2. Once you're in the battery, you'll want everyone to be stacked near an edge. The 3 threat neutralizations can be spread out along the backside of the energy circle as seen here, yeah. This way, only the 3 debuffs need to move and the rest of the raid can just vibe. That's great. This part is literally the most important thing outside of the purging protocol management. I see. If those 3 people don't spread out, they're going to kill each other. Comp doesn't really matter. If struggling, add a healer because it'll just give more CDs to live through protocols. Dynamically mark a stack point every time you move onto the energy cores. Tanks take shatter alone and then stack for obliterate afterwards. If it leaves a debuff afterwards and you get 2 of these between energy core, you want to have 2 groups to help soak this. Lust pull. Interesting. And the cores are already there. Okay, well that was definitely a quick and easy fight. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see if there's any recommendations. Tank is going to get hit by Obliterate. Any soaking DK might attempt to use AMS, so the Obliterate debuff damage is not applied. So, from what I could tell, sometimes he'll cast 2 Obliterates, sometimes 2 Sunders, and then sometimes one or the other. Is that what's happening?
I don't fully understand that part, but I guess it's not always just alternating. Not a great explanation on that mechanic there. The suppression field area sentries project can be ignored for the duration of AMS since it will prevent the silencing effect. If you're going to get hit by disintegration frontal line, using IBF will reduce the damage and prevent the 8-second stun. Players might want to pair it with AMS in order to prevent a 6-second hard-hitting arcane die. Or you know, you could just move out of the mechanic, right? AMS might make you less likely to be a target for threat neutralization. Alright, so that's the patchwork fight. So 3 more complicated ones, I guess, and then that's it. Next up is Fate Scribe Roh-Kalo. Fight consists of 3 phases. Yeah, we haven't had a multi-phase fight in like 5 phases, 5 bosses. Anyway, in phase 1, fight the boss itself and deal with a few mechanics. In phase 2, play a minigame and kill ads. I like minigames. Phase 3, fight the boss while in phase 1 while playing a simpler version of the minigame from phase 2. During the minigame, you must realign the runes on the ground to a certain location as fast as possible while also coordinating with other players. Okay, heroic changes. Upon detonation, the bomb from Call of Eternity will now also drop a charge on the ground that explodes at the same time as the next wave of bombs. Yeah, okay, sure. Alright. Fated Conjunction. Phase 1 lasts from 70 until 70 and 40, with each percentage transitioning into phase 2. On phase 2, resume phase 1. Okay. Beams appear in the room, inflicting shadow damage to players they hit. Even if the telegraph animation only concerns half the room, they will eventually hit the whole diagonal of the room once cast. Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. Any player hits received a 1-minute stackable 50% damage taken debuff. Got it. Dodge the big beams. Beware, they will hit half the room once cast. So, yeah, you pretty much only have like a quarter of the room available. Call of Eternity. Random players get a bomb that detonates after 8 seconds, inflicting shadow damage on heroic. After the bombs explode, they drop more bombs on the ground where the players stood. That will explode and disappear the next time another set of players' bombs explode. Alternate sides where bombs were dropped to avoid the previous set of bombs. Good tip. Let's see this. So put them all on the right side. The Warlock gates down. Go and click that and go all the way to the left side now. Or what? Anywhere else, I guess. Oh god, what's happening there? The fucking room's spinning. Invoke Destiny. Tank gets a bomb that detonates after 8 seconds, inflicting massive damage to each player proportional to the tank's distance. To reduce raid-wide damage, tank must move far away. Once the bomb detonates, a CCable ad will respawn and fixate the tank, inflicting massive damage if it reaches the tank. DPS must kill it immediately. Tank swap with the bomb is applied to a tank upon death. The ad spawns 5 smaller minions. What the fuck is going on in this fight? So tank mechanic, ad spawns. We have to kill it immediately. Thought we didn't want it to reach us. Why grip it? He gripped it away from the tank, maybe? That I don't fully understand. Okay, so you don't actually see ad spawning from this. Diviner's Probe, tank mechanic. When the boss switches targets, it grants 3 stacks of a debuff that will inflict heavy magic damage on the next auto attack. Use defensive mitigations before or right after taunting. I actually quite like this type of mechanic. This is a or goes a type mechanic where the hardest time is right after you swap. I really like that. Okay, 6-second dot on random player that inflict shadow damage. Make sure to spot heal. That's just a random. Okay. Just your average mechanic. Alright, so let's see the whole... What's this phase 1? Let's see. So, Fated Conjunction, that's the dodge thing. Call of Eternity. Bombs. So put one set on that side. And then next set on the right side if that happened. Call of Eternity, that's the same. Okay, yes, that's right. Invoke Destiny, that's the tank mechanic. Let's run out. Kill the ad, guys. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. Okay, very good. Now there's small ads, so let's attack these things. So we kick it. Nice little kick. And that's it, I guess. Okay. Okay, so that's phase 1. Then it's 70 and 40 boss HP. Phase 2 starts with a minigame where players have to realign on each circle a rune to a certain location, turning the circle either clockwise or counterclockwise, depending on what is the shortest, while dodging stunning projectiles. The rest of the raid deals with ads. Upon entering phase 2, Roh-Kalo moves to the center of the room. 6 rings in the middle of the room activate. Oh, I see. You can be on the edge. 2 elements appear within each ring. Movable rune, a fixed position rune socket. Oh, look at that. The goal is, in less than 40 seconds, for each of the 6 rings to move its rune inside its sockets. Runes can go in either direction. What, do you pick it up? 1 player on it, the rune goes clockwise. 2 player on it, the... Oh, what the fuck? That's really bizarre. So you have to stand on it? Dude, that is going to be complicated. Since the rune's start location is random, there's a short and a long way to the socket. Because you only have 40 seconds to complete, taking the long way will often lead to a wipe. That's interesting. Wow, this is going to be a complicated fight. Holy fuck. You should mark each ring and assign 2 players to each. 1 player always stands on the rune. The second player must step on it too if she or he sees it's faster to turn counterclockwise. This will avoid confusion. Yeah. That's a good point. Mark each ring and assign 2 players. That's smart. Okay, demystifying urban legends. What? Rings don't move. Players must follow and stay on top of their runes. Oh, like people thought you can just stand and do it. Okay, rings, socket, spawn locations are not random. They are set by the textured elements on the ground. No. Once and for all, the number of players on a rune doesn't change its rotation speed. This is actually something people were concerned with. Inner rings take as much time to complete as outer rings. The smaller the ring, the slower the rune's movement. The rune actually turns clockwise if there is an odd number of players on it. Oh, wait, what? Wait, oh, that's an urban legend. I see. That doesn't actually happen. Wait, or does it? So if there's accidentally 3 people on it, it's gonna be like there was 1 person on it because it's random. It's a clockwise if odd, counterclockwise if even number of players. Is that actually an urban legend or does that actually happen? Sometimes a rune spawns directly inside its socket. Good job. It's like with archaeology. Oh, there's a lot more still. Okay, wow, a lot more. Phase 3 as well. Okay, realign fate. 70 and 40 boss HP. While some of you are dealing with the minigame we just explained, the boss stands in the center of the room, immune to damage, focusing on dealing with the ads, interrupting properly, and assisting the players performing the minigame events. Slows players receive can quickly wipe the raid if player fails at realigning the runes. If the runes aren't completed within 40 seconds, then the boss has a one-shot mechanic to the entire raid. So everybody else does something else. They kill ads. What are those balls? Is that on Mythic or something? This is a cool fight, honestly. We'll see if it's fun. Fate Fragment. I cannot believe that fucking 20 years later they're still designing unique encounters. This is kind of crazy. Multiple projectiles spawn and move randomly inside the room, slowing any players they hit by 33% and inflicting heavy shadow damage. So that's the orbs. I see. So you really don't want to get hit by those. Oh, got stunned. See? Not good. Maybe that's on Mythic it stuns. It doesn't say anything about a stun. Unstable accretion. The boss inflicts raid-wide shadow damage every 3 seconds while in this intermission phase. Okay. Fate Spawn Monstrosity. That's a kickable thing. You have to kill it quickly and kick it otherwise. Okay. Alright. Recap. Let's see it. That's it. For phase 2 at least. So the boss isn't even attackable. There's some ads to kill. Otherwise, you just do this shit. Wait, what the hell is that? That's the orb spawning? What was that? I guess they're not random. Oh, this is another broker, isn't it? No. They're just using that model. Yeah, it's not. Maybe that's what he looked like at one point? No, he never looked like that. Maybe he did. I don't, anyway, okay, that's fine. So phase 3. After we do the thing, it's transition again, right? So we have to do that twice on the fight. Once at 70 and once at 40. And then after 40, phase 3 starts. You deal with all the abilities from phase 1 and the minigame from phase 2. This time the minigame only has 2 moving rings, but it must be completed within 30 seconds. Only 2 out of the 6 circles move this time, and they must be realigned in 30 seconds, making it more demanding. I see. Interesting. That one's struggling. They're having some trouble with that one. Oh, we got hit by the fucking thing, and they failed to do it. Seems like it was bugged there. Okay, that's the whole fight then, I guess. So, what does it say for the cheat sheet? Tank run out with debuff. Burn ad pursuing tank. Burn little ads that come from tank ad. Spread white big AoE circles. Spread leaves a mark where the previous one was and keeps happening. Utilize space. Dodge beams of death. Dodge orbs. Transition. Okay, so this is the main mechanic again. Rings. One player takes each marker to the correct place and locks it in. If need to go other way, use comms to ask for help. Odds and evens changes directions. Oh, okay, so it is more than one person. Okay. Burn, adds, and interrupt. Okay. Heroic encounter picks who must do this. Oh, really? Wait, what? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? What does it say about heroic changes? Upon detonation, the bombs from Call of Eternity now also drop a charge on the ground that explodes at the same... No, that's not. That's different. Yeah, that's the other mechanic. Okay. Alright, so that's the whole fight, I guess. Interesting. Remember, you have to stand directly on your rune for it to move. The socket endpoint of your rune are hard-coded to be in the same spot. However, the rune starting point will be different. Keep the ads on the far outside of the room and kick their cast. Just dodge the orbs. Okay, once the second minigame intermission phase is finished, phase 3 starts. This is both phases combined with a simplified version of the minigame occurring where only 2 rings must be fixed. These rings must be completed within 30 seconds. Sure. This is literally just them fucking showing the thing from the website. That's a little embarrassing. Anyway, roar every single beam to help move. Well, that's not going to happen. Tank all the ads in the intermission on the edge of the rings. Assign faster classes to the outside rings so that they can keep up with the faster moving ring. Okay.
Make sure you're not dropping orbs near existing ones. Rotating around the room helps to avoid any issues. Hardest overlap is when you get beams with the tank ad alive and while orbs need to be dropped all at the same time. I bet, yeah. If you are not assigned to move a rune, stand on the wood portion between the rings so that you won't accidentally screw over someone else who is moving a rune. A wood portion? You think that's wood? I don't think there's a lot of wood used in this raid. Lust at whatever point you're struggling. Thinks that lusting at the end of the fight would be optimal because it's the hardest part as long as it aligns with CDs. Mark your tank for beam since they need to move the boss for beam anyway. Makes it very easy to lead the group. That's true. That's a good point. Be quick to drop players as needed. People who just don't fucking get the rune mechanic. What the fuck? Just to kill the boss quickly. You don't want to hamstring yourself on a boss on heroic since you can drop people due to flex sizing, LeMayo. Wow, that's got to be the worst fucking advice I've ever heard on this. Okay. Sure thing, buddy. Anyway, markers are assigned as per this. Skull cross can act as dynamic markers where you move for add. I see. So they're like assigning the person. It's interesting. Okay, so that's not really that complicated of a fight to understand. Again, I think they did a good job with this. I think they did a good job with making sure that the fights are not too complicated to understand, but that they're still actually difficult. Okay, so the last two. Kel'Thuzad. Famous. Oh, what the hell? Oh, that's him actually as a human. Damn, holy shit. Fight overview. The fight alternates 3 times between phase 1 and 2. After the third phase 2, the fight moves into phase 3. Phase 1 involves fighting Kel'Thuzad with a few adds. Once the boss HP drops to 0, phase 2 starts. During phase 2, Kel'Thuzad becomes unattackable and the raid is split. Some players enter the Phylactery room to fight the human form, while the rest of the raid remains in the original room and deals with adds. So that's cool. Once the human form loses a third of its HP, phase 1 starts again. After completing phase 2 3 times, phase 3 begins. Phase 3 features abilities from phase 1 and 2 and includes a soft and rage with ever-growing zone. Okay. I'm not even going to read the heroic changes because I don't even know what the fight is yet. You fight Kel'Thuzad dealing with different mechanics. Howling Blast. When the boss reaches 100 energy, it summons growing AoE zones around the room that inflict heavy frost damage. Players must find the safe spots on the floor. That's okay, easy. Once the blizzard starts. This looks pretty similar to the room we fought him in Next Rammus, honestly. Is it meant to be the same room? Okay, Oblivion's Echo. Several players receive a debuff that creates a 10-yard silence zone around them. After 6 seconds, the debuff expires and drops a silencing AoE zone and summons 1 add per zone. These adds fixate random players. If a player is hit, the add detonates. Oh boy. This is definitely the same room, right? Looks very similar. Okay. Target with the silencing zone, stack on the edge of a platform and spawn an add. And then the add comes out and you gotta kill it, right? Do we actually want to stack them? Oh, really? What the fuck? That's not what they're doing in the video. I don't think you actually stack them. You just put them right next to each other. Relentless Haunt. Throughout the fight, Frostbond Devoted are summoned by different mechanics and will fixate players. If they reach the fixated player, they explode and inflict lethal damage around them. These adds might be one of the deadliest abilities early on in progression until handled properly. Keep them slow and CC to cancel their fixate. This forces them to reset, buying the raid some time. So they're that difficult. Yeah, I guess the room's pretty, they don't have, wow, they have a lot of health too. They don't die quick. Glacial Wrath, that's Icebound, that's a Pillar of Ice or whatever. Throws projectiles at several players. Once hit, a glacial spike add spawns. These adds lose 5% HP every 2 seconds. When they reach 0, they detonate, inflicting direct damage and on heroic a 10-second stackable debuff, eventually inflicting more damage than the detonation itself. The goal is to stagger kill them, only killing 1 to 2 every 10 seconds, or multiple at once while using defensive cooldowns. This will be the main source of damage taken during the fight. Manage the spikes properly to avoid excess damage and potential deaths. Oh, I see. They're actually spikes. Summons glacial spikes, inflicting damage and knocking them back. Once hit, a glacial spike adds spawns. These adds lose 5% HP. When they reach 0, they detonate. I see. So if you don't do damage to any of them, you're wipe. You have to kill one. And you have to do it quickly, because if you don't, the other ones are going to explode anyway. So it's like the botanist mechanic on that in Nighthold. Assign DPS to the adds. Okay, I see. So the closest one is the one that, yeah, okay. Okay, Frost Blast. An ice meteor targets a player. Damage is evenly split between all the players who soak it. Damage is lethal without enough players soaking. An ice meteor targets a player. Damage will evenly split. What the hell? Why are we? Okay, after the cast, all players who soaked are rooted for 12 seconds. Time for a mass dispel. Yeah. Interesting. So that's nothing special? How often does that happen? Frozen binds must have some hard counter to something, I guess. Okay, the boss performs a heavy shadow damage attack on the tank, inflicting 3 stacks of a 500% physical damage taken debuff. I thought it was shadow. It also summons 1 soul shard add per stack. Raid must interrupt the adds piercing a whale cast and kill them as fast as possible. Adds drop a zone once they are defeated, and the tank needs to enter the zone to lose 1 of the debuff stacks. Tank swap once the other tank has soul exhaustion. Kick and kill the adds that spawn affected. I have no idea what this is. I see. So you have to. Also summons 1 soul shard add per stack. The raid must interrupt the adds piercing whale cast and kill them as fast as possible. And then they are just permanently, there's just going to be a little void zone on the ground, and then you go kick it, or you go pick it up. And you just run through it. So every time he does the mechanic, he summons adds, I guess. Also summons 1 add per stack. So the first time it's 1, the second time it's 2, or what? Maybe it's 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, probably, yeah. Also drops a zone. Huh. Okay, so in order to clear the debuff, you have to actually do another mechanic. That's interesting. Ice Shard. The boss does 1 second uninterruptible cast. It inflicts physical damage on the tank. This is a melee hit. Great. At 40% mana, Kel'Thuzad revives all the Frostbound devoted previously killed during the fight on his position. He also resurrects players in a mind control form. Focus on the player, CC and kill the add while kiting them to avoid their exploding fixate. Wow, that's complicated. Holy shit. Okay, so this is all phase 1 still, right? Yeah, it's a long fight. It's gonna be a very long fight, I feel like. I really don't think you want to do that, but maybe. I mean, I guess if you can, you should, because all the ads spawn at once. Glacial Wrath, it's going to spawn the small ads. Kill those one at a time. Frost Blast is Soak. Okay, yep, Soak that. AoE, yeah, good luck. We have like 1 priest. Soul Fractures. Okay, so that's the tank mechanic. Kill those things fast. And then the tank runs and collects them while the other tank has the boss. Okay. Howling Blizzard. That's dodge shit. Okay, so that's actually, when you put it that way, doesn't look that complicated. That's phase 1.
After getting Kel'Thuzad's HP to 0 when phase 2 starts, half your DPS and healers should go down into the Phylactery room to kill the Remnant of Kel'Thuzad, while the rest of the raid remains to deal with adds. Prioritize sending melee players to the Phylactery since the room is not caster friendly. Oh, you can choose? Tanks should stay in Kel'Thuzad's realm. Oh damn, I really want to see what the human form realm looks like. Kel'Thuzad summons 2 unstoppable abominations through March of the Forsaken. These adds will attack the tank and frequently cast a frontal ability on them. Tank faces abomination away from raid. Raid dodges frontal. That's the frontal, wow. Tanks must not let the abominations face the raid. The raid must dodge the frontal. Kel'Thuzad also summons 4 Soul Reaver adds with the March of the Forsaken cast. These move very slowly, must be tanked, and occasionally cast an interruptible ability. On heroic, each successful cast increases the damage of the next one. Kick and tank. What's the relevance of them moving so slowly if you also have to tank them? I don't really get that. Vengeful Destruction. 45 seconds after the beginning of phase 2, Kel'Thuzad will finish casting the spell and inflict almost lethal damage to the whole raid. To prevent this, players must enter the Phylactery room and damage the Remnant of Kel'Thuzad by a third of its HP. This will cancel the cast. The Phylactery can be entered by walking into a zone in the middle of the room. So it's similar to Bwansamdi encounter. The Rastakhan encounter with Bwansamdi on it. Oh, is this actually the human form one then? I would really like to see that, but I guess we won't. Okay, Shadow Fissure. Projectiles frequently spawn while fighting the Remnant of Kel'Thuzad and inflict heavy shadow damage and a knockback to any player hits. Okay, dodge the projectiles thrown by the boss while fighting the Remnants. So that's the downstairs phase. That's why they're saying casters are not good down here. Constantly happening. Wow, Jesus. Doesn't really look that melee friendly either, though. Freezing Blast. The Remnant frequently casts a frontal beam in one direction. Any player hit takes frost damage and is rooted. So it's just simply dodge mechanics. Okay. Not much going on there. Glacial Winds. No more. Tornadoes. In a 6-second route to players that are hit. Undying Wrath. Once the Remnant loses a third of its HP, it begins a 10-second cast, killing anyone left in the Phylactery room. Players must quickly exit where they entered and use their extra action button to return. Okay. There's the extra action button. I see it. Let's use it. Cool. Okay. Interesting fight. Sinister Miasma. Players inside the Phylactery room take increased shadow damage. This forces healers to join DPS in the room to keep them healthy. Smart. Necrotic Surge. For each successful phase 2, Kel'Thuzad targets one more player with Oblivion Echo and Glacial Wrath, making each successive phase 1 harder than the last. Oh, shit. So more adds each time, huh? Be more and more awesome at mechanics. Thanks so much for that tip. Necrotic Empowerment. When the boss transitions past to phase 1, any adds still alive from phase 2 will be empowered. Oh, jeez. So you need to do it right. That's very, very, very similar to Rastakhan fight on that way. Adds killed while still in phase 2 will revive after 10 seconds at full HP. Oh, we think that killing an ad and transitioning less than 10 seconds after back to phase 1 won't revive it, but we are not certain. We think the mechanic is mostly to keep you from blasting one down in the first 10 seconds of the phase and be done. I see. That makes sense. So you're actually not even supposed to kill the ads. You're just supposed to get them low and then wait. Don't try to destack outside and re-enter. Okay. Okay, so that's the fight. Yeah, well, that's phase 1 and 2. So that's it. Tank just dodge these ads. Banshee's Cry. I don't just kick that shit, I guess. What does that do? Inflicting damage to a random player and gains a stacking. Oh yeah, okay. So that needs to be kicked. And that's literally just dodge a bunch of stuff. Like that's all you need to know. Dodge 3 different things. Okay, after the third, this is gonna be a long fight. Wow, it's gonna be like a 12-minute fight or something. After the first phase 2, the remnants of Kel'Thuzad is finally dead, and phase 3 starts in Kel'Thuzad's room. You must drop the boss's HP one final time while dealing with the meteor from phase 1, and eventually, phase 2 banshees and abominations will spawn too. Okay. I mean, what? That's just. Unfortunately, cannot show you footage of this ability yet. It looks like a ever-growing zone will spawn in the room. Okay, so people don't really know about that fight, that part of the fight yet. Some phase 1 abilities disappear, but patches don't disappear. Okay. So yeah, lusting phase 3. That might be like a 2 lust fight though, to be honest. It says burn. Kill tank soul shard so he can pick them up. Interrupt soul shard cast. Spread, silence AoE, and drop it on soul shards. Wait, drop it on soul shards, what? Little ads, kite them away. Kill, spikes explode, make them stagger. Split soak, big AoE circle, roots everyone, so some of the raid only. And swirlies, then patches, dodge. Zerg. Phase 2 ads. Okay, so phase 2 we understand pretty well. Phase 3 nobody seems to know maybe about, we'll see. Okay, so I think this fight is pretty straightforward. I guess it's probably going to be more complicated than it looks, but... Let's see what this is. Fight repeats itself multiple times. Every time it gets slightly harder. Would probably lust later in the fight for a kill, but would lust where you need to get deeper into the fight to learn and see more. Tank ads can be kicked with any usual kicks and or puddles. Oh, I see. That's right. The puddles also silence them. Early on in the fight, up until there's 3 spikes, spikes should try to be spawned on top of each other. Okay. You can just stack your raid and drop raid CDs to live through it. Once you have 4 spikes, stack 3 and do 1 by itself last and assign all big raid CDs to this. What the fuck? That is like super aggressive idea. For prog on this, it's worth assigning a healthy amount of people to Phylactery phase and assign 1 to 3 people to hold CDs for Remnant phase to get out of it quickly. That's true. That's a good point. Should really just press CDs on CD in this fight except for the upstairs intermission ads since they're kind of useless. The boss reses with the same amount of mana that he died with, so that means every phase will always be different for you unless you're always pushing at the same point each time. You'll need to learn multiple variations of this phase. Oh, that's interesting. The mana breakpoints are how the fight works, okay. AoE stuns are good on the devoted as soon as their cast finishes, not starts. These are fully CCable. Okay. This is a control fight similar to Shadowlands Generals. Overall damage does not matter as long as you beat second Ice Shard in phase 1. Save spots are totally random for Blizzard and also for the burn phase in the final phase. The Ice Shard is the soaking thing? Ice Shard, what is it? Ice Shard is the tank mechanic, so I don't know if they got that wrong. They probably mean Ice Meteor or whatever. Adding healers probably is a good option since it's a control fight and extra CDs would be good unless you are consistently getting 2 spike sets per phase. Adding grip tank to make devoted management would be easier. Unsure what's harder for most guilds, kicking and killing tank ads or killing spread out frostbound devoteds. Spread pools and silence tank ads if kicks are a problem. If spread devoted are causing a problem, then stack them and blast. Interesting point. Okay. Alright, that is it. Sylvanas fight is probably going to be absolutely nuts, so let's get to it. Hopefully a lot of the info will be known. Last time when we did this, the Nathrius, there was almost no info for anything but phase 1. Okay. Hold on a second. Let's go back and look at heroic changes, because now that I know the fight. In phase 1, Glacial Wrath now applies a 10-second stacking dot on the whole raid. The dot will inflict eventually more damage over time than the explosion itself. Stagger the kill of the glacial spikes or pop a lot of defensives and AoE them down. Yeah. In phase 2, players exiting the Phylactery receive a debuff, keeping them from entering the Phylactery again for 20 seconds. That's how Rogue only changed. In phase 2, the Banshee adds now gain a stackable 25% damage on successful casts. Okay, so also very easy. Abominations and Banshees killed will revive after 10 seconds if the boss is in transition. So they're thinking that's a heroic only change. In the third phase 2, when the Remnant is under 33% HP, it gains a new ability, Glacial Winds, spawning tornadoes on the platform that players must dodge. Phase 3 is the same as normal. Okay, so normal is actually like not really any different than heroic. Okay, so final boss, Sylvanas. Windrunner, let's see. Phase 1 lasts until Sylvanas reaches 80% HP. You face her alone, dealing with different mechanics often reused in later phases. Upon reaching 80%, intermission starts. This phase mostly consists of dodging projectiles and DPSing adds and lasts for about a minute. Phase 2 starts after about a minute of intermission. In Phase 2, you chase Sylvanas across different platforms while dealing with adds. Finally, Phase 3 starts shortly after the raid reaches the last Phase 2 platform. In Phase 3, you face Sylvanas alone. Alright, this phase stops when Sylvanas reaches 80% HP. Good, that's good. Sylvanas starts jumping everywhere, but her hitbox where you can attack her stays where she casted the ability. Oh. While affected by Windrunner, she gains 3 abilities. Withering Fire, which applies a bleed. It can only be reset by Domination Chains. Shadow Dagger, which is another 9-second dot. And Desecration Shot, which spawns a pattern of AoE on the ground. Dodge the AoE when Sylvanas gains Windrunner and reset any barbed arrow bleed with the Chains of Domination. Okay. What is the Chains of Domination? Besides the raid. Guess we'll see that soon. Desecrating Shot. When Sylvanas gains Windrunner, she will sometimes fire projectiles in different shaped patterns, forcing players to dodge or otherwise receive heavy shadow damage. Try to learn them to increase your DPS uptime and lower death risks. Oh, I see. It's like completely... They're actually like real patterns, not just random. Holy shit, what the fuck? Oh, that's cool. That's quite neat. Okay, Domination Chains. Arrows fall from the sky, inflicting lethal damage to any player's hit. Some of them will spawn a Domination Chain that will pull the closest player to it until it's destroyed. Getting chained by one of these arrows removes all the stacks of the barbed arrow bleed. On Heroic, if the chain player touches the arrow, pulling them in, they will be instantly killed. Be close to an arrow if you need to reset your bleeds, and on Heroic, stay away from it once chained. Always DPS all the arrows. So the closest person is what they pick? Yeah, the closest player, okay. And that is the bleed from the other mechanics she does? Or sets all the bleeds, I guess, okay. Okay, Veil of Darkness. Sylvanas teleports somewhere in the room and casts a massive Veil of Darkness AoE around her. When the cast finishes, any player hit by it takes shadow damage and 5 stacks of a debuff that inflicts a dot and a heavy absorb shield. Each stack increases the dot damage and the amount of the healing absorbed. 75% of the healing received by a player with this debuff will go towards the healing absorb shield, leaving only 25% to the player's HP. Each second, a stack of the debuff attempts to jump onto another player within 5 yards. If someone in the raid has stacks, it's best they try to spread them. What the fuck are you even talking about? Okay, when the cast finishes, any player hit by it takes shadow damage and 5 stacks of a debuff that inflicts a dot and a heavy absorb shield. Each stack increases the dot damage and the amount of the healing absorbed. I don't understand. Dodge the AoE when Sylvanas teleports. If hit, try to get close to other players to give them stacks of your debuff. I see. So you want to try to, if you make a mistake, which you shouldn't, I guess, right? But I guess maybe you will. You can actually prevent dying to the mistake by giving the debuff to other players. I see. So yeah, if someone in the raid has stacks, it's best to try to spread them. They talk a lot about this on this website, like how, or not even, I don't know who's, can't remember. I know it was this DK one, but it's like constantly talking about making mistakes and not dying to them. It's like, what? No, just don't make mistakes. Anyway, Wailing Arrow, another bomb-like mechanic for tanks. Sylvanas fires an arrow, inflicting heavy shadow damage to all the raid proportional to the distance with the players. Tank swap, then targeting tank must travel far from the raid. Hey, wow, kid, yep. Yeah, it's funny. The first one, the Denatrius one, took me 5 hours. This one, we're going to be done really quick. It's probably because, like, all the middle fights, like, I really understand very well. So this is another run away from the boss mechanic. A dot Sylvanas inflicts to random players when she's under the effect of Windrunner, just heal through it. Okay, Ranger's Heartseeker. Sylvanas gains a stack of this buff every 5 seconds. Upon reaching 5 stacks, her next Ranger shot automatically is replaced with a series of 3 arrows that inflict a seriously damaging combination of physical and shadow damage and leave an 18-second shadow dot. Be careful not to be the target of this attack twice in a row if she has over 6 stacks, else the damage will nuke you. That doesn't sound good. Okay, so let's see if we can... I'm like mentally burned out on this, honestly. I can't even learn these things right now. So dodge that. That's that pattern that we have to learn. Domination chains. It's the arrows. So don't get hit by it, but if you need to reset your bleeds, you stand near it. But it seems like only a few go out. And then Veil of Darkness we need to run away from, so. Looks pretty similar, or it looks pretty simple, but Windrunner is just going to charge to random players. Yeah, okay. It looks pretty straightforward. Starts when Sylvanas reaches 80. She becomes vulnerable for a minute until phase 2. Okay, Domination. Sylvanas summons a gigantic volley of arrows, spawning a chain of domination for each player alive and resetting all the barbed arrow bleeds. What to do? Big DPS. Alright, thanks a lot. Oh, they're not kidding. There's a lot of them. Good fight for Bombkins. But is it? But is what? Oh, that guy got hit by something. Okay, anyway, destroy all the domination chains while dodging mechanics. On heroic, stay away from the arrow. Sylvanas, oh, that's going to be tough for melee then. I guess as long as you don't get picked, then you can go near one. Sylvanas picks up a piece of a platform and throws it at players, creating a massive projectile that players must dodge. Throughout its trajectory, the projectile will also throw AoEs around. So that's kind of like what happens when she fights Bolvar, right? It looks straightforward, but is it? Well, it's the first phase, so yeah, just like Denathrius. The first phase is very straightforward. I'm sure the end is going to be a mess. Rive. Don't know what that word means, but not quite what I expected to see. Okay, Banshee Whale. Inflict. What is Rive? What is that? Oh, that's the name of the ability. Rive.
Banshee Wail inflicts damage to every player. Anyone within 5 yards of another player will receive extra damage and will be interrupted. So you got spread. Spread out when Sylvanas casts Banshee Wail. Sylvanas becomes immune to damage for most of the fight when she has the Banshee Shroud buff. She jumps from platform to platform while the raid runs after her until she finally reaches the last one and the raid enters phase 3. Oh, that's cool. Rune, potential wipe ability. If the cast is not interrupted, then Sylvanas inflicts lethal raid-wide shadow damage. Make sure to kick Sylvanas. How long do you have? Oh shit, look at this. This is cool. You don't have very long. 5 seconds. So somebody needs to get there quick. Damn, this looks awesome. Where are those things coming from? Is somebody helping us? Oh, is that Thrall and Jaina? Oh, I bet it's Thrall and Jaina. The ice one's Jaina and the earth one's Thrall, I bet. No, because Thrall's not even a fucking shaman anymore, right? I don't know what that is. Okay, anyway, he's a fucking warrior now. Haunting Wave. Sylvanas throws projectiles that could knock you off the platform if you're hit. What to do? Dodge. Smart. That's that's great. It definitely doesn't look... Yeah, there's blood and thunder. Okay, NPCs are definitely here with you. It's got to be Jaina, right? I've opened the way. Go. Stop Sylvanas. Is that Thrall? There's 2 NPCs here. I don't know who they are. Okay, anyway. Veil of Darkness. Similar to Phase 1, Sylvanas teleports to a spot. Apparently, there's like an exhaustive amount of the bridge and ad phases. Like a lot of them. Similar to the Phase 1, Sylvanas teleports to a spot, but in this phase, she also casts several small AoEs. Exactly the same as in Phase 1. Any player hit by Veil of Darkness takes shadow damage and debuff that inflicts a dot and heavy absorb shield. Each stack increases the dot damage. Yeah. Each second, a stack of the debuff jumps. So this is going to be more realistic to get hit by it now. That's why they're trying to teach you how to do it. Like, yeah, to get out of this. Going to be difficult. Oh, they're just small circles now. Okay. Does look like a couple of those fucking dumbass melee got hit. Melee noobs, you know? Okay, so next up, Banshee Wail. That's another summon or another silence. Same mechanic, we're just now fighting on a small bridge, so it's gonna be harder. Hymn of the End. When no players within 50 yards. Oh, okay. So that's like if you interrupt her and don't get to her, then she gets really mad. Mossworn Vanguard. What is this? Ads? Accursed Might. Stacks 50% damage done. So there's ads now? What is this? Phase 2? Huh. A lot of ads that I don't... Physical attack on the main target. What to do? Who cares? Oh, great. Thanks a lot for letting me know. A lot of different ads that honestly I'm just way too mentally stretched to read about and understand. I'm sure they won't be that difficult to understand. Looks like a couple interrupts, healing stuff, and then this one's a tank dude. Goliath. I love these guys. They're so cool looking. Okay, phase 3. You're teleported to the Arbiter's Chamber and have to fight Sylvanas on 4 different platforms. She condemns each platform after a certain amount of time, forcing the raid to move to the next. Oh, the Arbiter's Chamber. Oh, shit. Damn. This is going to be a big deal, isn't it? Throughout the phase, Sylvanas or the Jailer spawns pools around the room. We're not sure yet, maybe. Any player that touches the pools absorb it, gaining a stack. Dispelling the player drops the pools back on the ground. This mechanic will force the raid to manage the space and might require some players to handle cleaning up the platforms. We just don't know yet. On Heroic and higher, the space management becomes especially relevant because of the Banshee's Fury ability that deals damage proportional to the amount of Banshee's Bane on the raid. Manage the space properly. You literally just run through them. Oh shit. Does it drop all of them on the same spot, though? Because that's actually pretty useful. It's a dumbass shadow priest. Dude, move. He's dropping shit there. What the fuck are you doing? The NPCs are, in fact, Thrall and Jaina. Oh, that's cool. So Thrall's a shaman again? What the fuck? Okay, let's see. Banshee's Fury. Every minute or so, Sylvanas erupts and inflicts raid-wide damage after 4-second cast. Here's why it's dangerous. Any stacks of Banshee's Bane on players equals an extra 8k damage per stack to the raid, quickly leading to a wipe if people are not swiftly dispel or any stacks the Swan starts while casting. So this is, you pick up the mechanic, and then if you have the mechanic when she does an ability, it fucks it up, huh? Okay, so that's for rope only, though. Let's see if we can see that. He still probably has some small connection to the elements. No, apparently not. Not, I mean, unless that happens in the Shadowlands storyline somewhere. In the beginning of Shadowlands, he was like completely right. He couldn't do anything. He's like he's a warrior. He's like a straight up a warrior now. He's no longer a shaman. Yeah, he's definitely getting it back if he's going to be doing stuff like that. Okay, Wailing Arrow. Similar to Phase 1 tank ability. That's probably why fucking Garrosh is here. Okay. Garrosh is in the raid, so yeah, that's definitely got to have something relevant. Similar to Phase 1 tank ability, Carrot casts an arrow on a random player, not necessarily a tank, inflicting raid-wide damage proportional to the distance of that player. This ability hits extremely hard if players are near the target. You want to either use defensives on the raid or as much distance between yourself and the target. Yeah, this is going to be a tough fight. Very small platforms. Veil of Darkness. Similar to Phase 1, Sylvanas holds the Veil of Darkness on 2 random players and anyone near those targets. Teleports somewhere in the room and casts a massive Veil of Darkness. So it's the exact same description. They're just copy and pasting it. You just got to dodge that shit. But this time it's going to start getting a lot harder to not dodge. Wait, who's that? What was that? Why is there a mob over there? Oh, it's fucking Anduin. It's not a mob. It's Anduin. What's he doing? It looks like Thrall and Jaina are talking to him. Or doing something with him. Maybe they're trying to convince him to not be the Lich King. Interesting. Banshee Scream. Inflicts damage to every player. Anyone within 5 yards of another player will receive extra damage and will be interrupted for 4 seconds. What to do? Spread out. Okay, so that's the same. Same mechanic as we've done every other phase. Probably doesn't matter if melee get hit, I guess, because other than the extra damage portion. Throws daggers around herself in a star-like platter. It's fairly easy to move out of it. Agreed. Raise. After a 3-second, fill the platform with heavy hitting cloud, also cutting off access to other platforms. There's Anduin. Please don't turn him into Lich King 2.0. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen here. I mean, maybe that's what happens. Maybe Anduin's the final boss of the expansion. Players must quickly jump to another platform when she starts casting the spell. Any player still on the current platform will have their character turn into a demon hunter. Well, that would be a huge error. Okay, so you just leave. You just jump off the edge, basically. Oh, not like that. You have to jump off the actual blue stuff. Or, oh, I guess he just stayed and died. That's what happened. Okay, Banshee's Heartseeker. Similar to the ability in Phase 1. Ranger's Heartseeker. Sylvanas gains a stack of this buff every... See, I love this character, man. It's unbelievable. Sylvanas gains a stack of this buff every 5 seconds. Upon reaching 3 stacks, her next ranger shot auto attack is replaced with a series of 3 arrows that inflict a seriously dangerous combination of physical and shadow damage applies 3 stacks of Banshee's Bane. Oh, and this is the tank mechanic. So not too dissimilar to Nathria. It's extremely difficult tank mechanics. Be careful and avoid taking damage from this attack twice in a row if she has over 6 stacks, else the damage will nuke you. Creates AoE on the ground, inflicting damage to anyone and turning into Banshee's Bane on the ground anywhere. There's no actual picture of this.
Gains a stack of this buff every 5 seconds. Upon reaching 3 stacks, her next ranger shot auto attack is replaced with a series of 3 arrows that inflict a seriously dangerous combination of shadow and physical damage. And applies 3 stacks of Banshee's Bane. Oh. So eventually the room's going to be filled up no matter what. God, this is a tough fight. And that's the end of it, apparently. That's all the mechanics, at least. Rumor has it Matthew Collins cannot get into his Covenant Hall. Probably can't even log on, yeah. Okay. These are just the same things from the website. Somehow Blizzard thought a 5-minute intermission phase is a good idea. It's just an encounter. It's part of the encounter. It's not like you're gonna be AFK for 5 minutes. So what is Sylvanas doing at the Arbiter's platform, huh? Oh no. Nothing really worth having markers. Figure it's worth sharing the pathing for phase 2. The single smiley on the 3rd platform is the first kick / boss goes unimmune for a little bit. This one? So what is this? I guess it's steal the Arbiter's heart, yeah. I bet it's got something to do with those really cryptic things that got said about characters. Her heart is a crater. What was that shit? Her heart is a crater and we have filled it. Everybody thinks they're talking about shit that happened already, but no. This is probably yet to come. You really need a weak ore for that? People like use weak ores like way too aggressively, I feel like. Oh, that's this mechanic, okay. She's the last key, apparently. Yeah, I guess so. Okay, so anyway, do we actually have a TLDR here? Alright, Sylvanas TLDR. Tank. Run out AoE debuff. Melee. When boss flips around, you don't need to chase. Dodge swirlies. Debuff removed by being targeted by a chain. Heroic. Run. Run away from arrow if chained or die. Burn arrows. Run big AoE. Intermission. Kill all the arrows. Flying black missiles. Dodge those. Dodge swirlies. Spread AoE whale. Interrupts your cast. Phase 2. Bunch of phase 1 mechanics while running on bridges. Burn. Kill adds at end. Dodge. Vanguards do an AoE on tank. Interrupt adds. Dispel when debuff gets nasty. It jumps. Curses. Dispel curses. Okay. Some phase 1 abilities continue. Dodge pizza. I really like pizza. Anybody dislike pizza? Like for real. Is there anybody out there who dislikes pizza? I don't think anybody. Anyway, soak and dispel. Soak the group and it gets dispelled on old platform. Soak the group and get it dispelled on old platform. Oh, what the fuck? See, that is a tip that definitely needs to be on this website. That was not mentioned here. If that's actually possible, then that's really important. Banshee's Bane. No debuffs or you wipe raid. Okay, so that's interesting. So you can take the debuffs back to the old platform. No wonder why. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so that's it for that. That's pretty much the whole fight, right? Okay, let's read the limit max walkthrough notes. I'm concerned for Kyle's HP. Yeah, he hasn't been around for a long time. But that's still not even halfway there. So we got another probably 6 months before that's the thing. We don't really have a lot of... we don't really get a lot of donations anymore. Okay, anyway, chain always picks nearest targets, but close. Be close, but not on top of the chains. Only really worth micromanaging chains when someone has an outstandingly high amount of bleeds. Yep. Phasing as soon as domination chains come out is pretty bad because there's an insane amount of chains at that point. I could imagine, yeah. Really not much going on. Just remember melee can still hit the boss when she zooms around. Range should focus chains that are out in Narnia, not Nathria, because the ones that are close and stacked will die to melee cleave. Be team player, please. Okay. Roar every veil of darkness, big swirly. Just get the fuck out. Tanks don't troll melee with boss movement in this phase. Okay. After kicking the first ruin in phase 2, happens after you cross to the 3rd platform. You have a bit of time to hit the boss. However, advises against CDs on ads until you know you need extra damage to push phase 3 later on. Advises using CDs on ads, not against. Using CDs on ads. Okay, Maw Forge ads are the big boy ads and actually do things. Maw Sworn are just annoying and don't do much. Maw Forged ads, okay. After you do 3 sets of ads, this is a boss burn phase for 40 seconds again. So this is very similar to N'Zoth, isn't it? This is very similar to N'Zoth. Final ads can be ignored because you get ported out to phase 3 anyway. Okay, phase 3. Oops. Arrows go on a tank and 2 DPS. Always drop puddles on the backside of the platforms. Pre-spread Banshee Scream. Be aware ahead of time which platform will be the next. That you'll go and send someone over there beforehand to clean up puddles. Oh, so the puddles not only go on separate platforms, but they also have to, okay, yeah, that's pretty nuts. So they not only can be dropped on separate platforms, but they also go like normally on other platforms. How do you like this expansion compared to Legion? I didn't really like Legion, to be honest. It was definitely the worst of the last 3 expansions for me. It started off awful, like horrible, but by the end it got pretty damn good. But yeah, so far Shadowlands is way better than the first 6 months of Shadowlands have been better than the first 6 months of any other expansion. Okay, concealing a bit of information for obvious reasons. Look for a kill VOD on the first day of Heroic Week. Yeah, so there's obviously a bunch of stuff going on there that we don't know about. All right, well that's the whole thing. We've now seen all the fights. Kel'Thuzad and Sylvanas seem absolutely insane. And honestly, Kel'Thuzad, I just don't really even understand what his role is. I guess he's heavily featured in the Necrolord Covenant campaign. Is this correct? The nefarious Kel'Thuzad awaits at the apex of the Soul River, allowing the Lich to draw upon an unlimited well of power. All his countless schemes and machinations have led to this final confrontation, where he has plotted the mortal champion's ultimate demise in the service of his true master. I'm glad I missed the first half of BFA. The first half? The first half was fine. It was just the first raid tier that was really bad. The first raid tier of both Legion and BFA were very bad. Like, really bad. That's the good thing about Shadowlands, even though the first raid tier was long. Like, let's put it this way. If the first raid tier of Shadowlands was as long as it was, and it had the systems that Legion or BFA had in place, you would not be playing the game right now. Like, it would be awful. You wouldn't have been able to stomach it. Those raid tiers were very short, and they fixed the problems relatively quickly. But it was really bad for a while there. Like, literally the main... Like, actually, both Legion and BFA had the exact same problem. The main system that you're supposed to get and experiment with and gain power from, either the Legion Legendaries or the Battle for Azeroth artifact, what are they called? Azerite armor. You literally could not get them. Like, you couldn't get them. They just didn't exist, basically. Terrible, terrible system acquisition, at least. With Oribos in peril, a desperate battle at the pinnacle of the Sanctum begins. Standing between the jailer and the mortals who would stop him. What? Oh, standing between the jailer and the mortals who would stop him is Sylvanas Windrunner. With no masks left to wear, the Banshee Queen unleashes her full power to protect the Banished One while his ultimate plan unfolds. I don't even really... This is just like...
Nathria was a good raid. I really liked the concept of it. It felt like very like Karazhan-esque, like very almost like not relevant, and it was like, you know, unique because of that. This is going to be the complete opposite. This is going to be the best story raid, maybe since Mob, honestly. I will say that. It does feel very... There's a lot of similarities to this raid and Siege of Orgrimmar. This is going to be crazy. I quit after the first patch of BFA. I absolutely love Legion. Gotcha. Yeah, I did not. Did you like the beginning of Legion when like acquiring an artifact was ridiculous? Last time I watched the stream was during Legion. Long hair looks good on you. Yeah, I thought so. It's been a long time. Well, I'm glad to see you, even if I guess you're not playing right now, but yeah, I don't know. Legion was not my favorite expansion. The ending was great. Like the last 2 seasons of Legion were very good, like above average for sure. But BFA was solid, just as good as all of that, and Shadowlands is better. The thing I love about Shadowlands is like class stuff is so good this time around. But anyway, that's it. I don't really fully... I don't know what's going on with Kel'Thuzad. Let's see, Kel'Thuzad. Was a powerful human mage and a member of the Kirin Tor until his interest in dark arts caused him to be expelled. So, not in Warcraft 3. He's already a necromancer in Warcraft 3, right? God, that is such an iconic looking character. He doesn't even have a beard in when he's a human. It's strange. Yeah, I guess he's already a necromancer by this point. The introduction of Mythic Plus gave our guild something to do outside of raid. Made a ton of friends with other top dogs in the server. Sweet. Yeah, that's still a thing in Shadowlands. Mythic Plus, I would say, is definitely a lot better than it was in Legion. Just made the expansion. Gotcha. But not enough to enjoy it into the future, I guess. Oh, Hellkiller. This dude just never fully dies, huh? Soul was lost to the Shadowlands. Wait, that actually gets said in the Chronicle? Huh. Gonna have to read that someday. Kel'Thuzad arrived in the Shadowlands realm of Maldraxxus, where he joined the House of Rituals and became one of the 2 barons serving under Margrave Sendane. He took the place of Baron Balmadar, who he then also shut out of the house's dealing. Kel'Thuzad subsequently used his position of influence over Sendane. This all happens in the Covenant campaign, I guess, right? Might sound dumb, but I quit because of the GCD. Yeah, that definitely sounds dumb. All right. Well, anyway, we pretty much got everything we wanted to get done. So I'm very excited for this raid. It will be tomorrow. It feels like man, this week has been a very strange week, but tomorrow hopefully we will have some Mythic Plus in the afternoon. Hopefully it won't be too late. We got to figure out what we're doing with dinner, but I definitely want to get some Mythic Plus done. And then, yeah, hopefully get into the raids. We will definitely have the, you know, we're going to do normal, and hopefully that will go well. And since I'm streaming the raid now anyway, we'll definitely just continue on Wednesday. But Tuesday and Wednesday, hopefully we're going to do a lot of 5. a lot of 5-mans, and we'll get a lot of, I guess, experience with the new fix, and then we'll get into the raid. So, Diogo, thanks for stopping by, man. Hopefully we'll see you again in the future. But everyone else, we'll see you guys tomorrow, and hopefully it'll be good. But yeah, I think this will be interesting. Let me know if anybody, yeah, hopefully people will actually like get some benefit out of this video. I'm not sure. It's not my favorite video I've ever made, not my favorite thing I've ever done on this channel, but I think I needed to do it anyway, so I figured maybe it would have taken like 2.5 hours instead of 3.5 hours if I didn't read through everything out loud, but I think it should help people. So see you guys in the next one.